A fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weak until the final siren's gone.
Well, we've won another game, Tiger fans. We've won 4, which is double the amount of last year, which is very, very exciting. Albeit it was a very ugly and uninspiring watch for a lot of that game last night. Apologies for not doing fan cam last night. I didn't get home till after midnight, so I did contemplate firing it up, but I was absolutely cooked. So I thought we might do it today. And Shannon ran a fan cam as well, so you could get around that on game night as well, which was good. But what a mixed bag of emotions, I suppose. But first and foremost, Nick Vlastuin, 250 games, an absolute warrior and superstar of the Richmond Football Club. Very, very glad that we were able to get that done for him. We're in a bit of a tricky time at the moment when players have these big milestone games for us and we're not playing so well. It can be kind of hard to get that win for them and send them off in style. So the fact we were able to get the 4 points for him was good. And then obviously Taj Houghton with his debut game. It's to kick a goal and debut. It's what dreams are made of. I'm sure that's going to be a moment that he'll never, ever forget. And the roar of the Tiger Army was extremely loud, and I was super pumped for him. He did some really nice things, though, didn't he? Showed he's got clean hands at ground level and in the air, and he's going to be a serious player for the future. But welcome to everybody from wherever you are watching from tonight. I appreciate we've got a few people in the green room already, which is awesome. And it's going to be interesting to hear everybody's thoughts, as I'm sure there's a few mixed bags of emotion. Yeah, I did get a haircut. I do have a wedding coming up in, what do we got, like 11 or 12 days or something before we head off. So, yeah, thought we better get a haircut. But no, Taj, he is a beautiful mover. He's very, very smooth. And he did what he did off about, 56% game time, something like that. So that's only going to improve as the weeks go on. But yeah, so and final score, I didn't read that out at the start. 6-10-46 to 4-13-37, winning by 9 points. I think we said on Monday night and maybe even Wednesday that we probably need to find a way to kick 80 or 90 points to be a chance of winning. And we, as a collective, kicked, 70 something. So yeah, not 80, not the greatest night for both sides, it must be said. But we'll kick things off with Shannon. Shannon, how are you, mate?
God, been busy today.
It's been, a little bit busy. It was busy last night. Yesterday, the whole works. And then, I did watch the last quarter again today, I must admit. I didn't have the bravery to watch the full 4 quarters.
Watch the rest.
But I missed a large chunk of the last quarter because we were lucky enough to head downstairs to the room, so we actually missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Last quarter's the best quarter.
Yeah. I missed pretty much half of our score being kicked in a quarter. But what did you make of the game? It was, glad we got the 4 points, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I was glad we got the 4 points. I was glad we got the W. But it was just a very ugly game to watch on TV. It felt like country footy at the lowest level you can. It just felt like, I kept asking the questions last night, was it wet there? Because it just looked like a wet weather football game. That's just how it looked with how they kicked it, how they marked, how they moved it. So
yeah, it drizzled for like a nanosecond in the lead up to the game, but not enough to make a difference. I know night games are a bit more slippery anyway, just by the nature of when the time slot is. But no, that all I could think of while watching that game, if there was ever a reason to not have a wild card round, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It was horrible.
It was very very frustrating. I think I'm pretty sure I pulled some more hairs out than I ever have before. Not because of like how we play, but it was just how both teams played. It was just atrocious. Not just Richmond, but Essendon weren't any better as well, which probably doesn't help because we tend to try and play up to the team we're versing.
Yep.
And Essendon weren't any better than us as well. So it was just a dogfight of under 18s. Look, that's what it felt like.
The first quarter, I thought we moved the ball quite well in the first quarter. There was a lot of ball pinging around up and down the ground, some full ground transitions, led by the back line. But then, as we could all see, the forward line was so dysfunctional that they just couldn't finish off the work, could they?
Yeah, or they couldn't mark the ball when it was a pretty simple mark, or they marked the ball and they thought it was a good idea to handball to a player 3 meters away next to 2 players, and that player gets tackled and doesn't turn into another goal, which would have been the definite seal. I would have felt a bit better to get over 50 points, but I just felt like simple things like that were probably what hurt us as well. Going into the forward line, I was talking to JR last night about it. It seemed like for us to get it into our 50, it was really complicated and harder than it needed to be. And then Essendon would get the ball, launch off their back line, and it was one kick into the 50 and a mark, and they were just open. And it just felt like as a team, we were just flooding the 50. And Essendon were the opposite. They were going, no, let's just get everybody out and let Nate Caddy and one other forward do their own thing. We're just quite lucky that our defenders they just wore them like a glove last night.
You hit the nail on the head. The defence were quite comfortably the strongest line on the field for us. Ben Miller and Tyler Young, honestly, they had super games between them. And I know people will say, oh, but it was only Essendon. But you can only play the team in front of you. And even though it was only Essendon, I'd still argue that Peter Wright and Nate Caddy are still very dangerous forwards in their own right. So it's not like they were missing the 2 big men up front. What did you make of their games, especially Tyler Young on his first game back from the ACL? Obviously played some VFL games in the meantime.
With him, it looked like he didn't miss a beat. It looked like it was like when he was originally playing before he did his ACL. He was always composed. He still has great overhead marking, great IQ, especially when to golf his own man. And also takes the chance of kicking a ball into a dangerous spot to try something. So it's probably one of the best games someone's come back off a major ACL. And, he did quite well. I think he was on Nate Caddy most of the night. And he gave Nate Caddy a run for his money. I think the only goal Nate Caddy got was, we could all probably say, was a piss-poor free kick just because his hand touched him in the back.
Oh, my God. I reckon he slipped.
Well, he was slipping because both Miller and him were both, falling.
Yeah.
And I think as Miller fell, he slightly touched his hand. And then that was a free kick.
They both misjudged the flight. So it's like they were both trying to stop a U-turn and then slipped. And it was just a bit of a calamity.
And
they paid the free.
That was the only goal that's the only way to me. And that seemed to me the only way their forwards kind of got some goals was because of free kicks. One was a high, the Nate Caddy push. It seemed like that's the only way they were kicking their goals, where Richmond, no matter where we were on the ground, you could get your head ripped off or tripped over or hold out the ball, and the whistle was sucked up unless you had yellow and black on. So red and black.
You didn't have to look any further than Dion Prestia losing his shit in the middle of the ground, hulking up. He had every right to.
Yeah.
And someone was clever enough to turn that into an eventual Hulk. He turned into the Hulk, which was very good. I saw it on Instagram. Very, very funny. That made me laugh quite a lot. I saw that today. Yeah.
Well, I don't blame him, because even just in that second, even the commentator said it. I can see why he's angry, because he was held, he was pulled, he was pushed away from it. I'm pretty sure he got hit in the head as well. And then he does one thing wrong, and it's holding the ball. Yeah. I feel bad for Jacob Hopper. There was an instance where he had the ball, he got rid of it, got tripped and brought to the ground, and then still got hit, and then got the ball back and got pinned for holding the ball. And I was like, it was 3 chances for him to get a free kick, but you wouldn't give it to them. They got it and went down and kicked a point, because that's all we did, or anyone did in that game. So I felt bad for the players, because the umpiring is up there. Like I said, we didn't play good, but the umpires weren't any better either, and it just hurt.
I think it wears the players down a bit emotionally too, and just the blatant ones aren't coming back your way. I've seen a few comments in chat about ball movement, and whilst I don't disagree whatsoever, I would really like to know how many people in chat saying that were at the game. And I only say that because what probably wasn't captured on camera a hell of a lot was, so the first quarter we moved the ball really well, lots of forward handballs and breaking through the lines and whatever. After quarter time, Essendon actually set up with 2, sometimes 3 players behind the ball. Now, I don't mind seeing 1 player behind the ball. It's pretty normal to see that. 2, okay, for parts of the game, but 3 at various stages, like what the hell is going on? So essentially what was happening, you could see our players would actually fast break from the back line for the last 3 quarters, get to the middle part of the ground or on the half back line and come to a screeching halt and have to kick it sideways or backwards or something. So that wasn't our fault as such. I actually think the players responded well to the way Essendon set up, because they put those players there so we would kick it to them and they could then slingshot counterattack. So I actually thought our guys adjusted well. As ugly as it looked, it's why we had to do it.
No, it was you couldn't see that on just the screens. I had it on KO, so you couldn't see the whole ground. But the commentators were making mention of it, that they were like, well, Richmond has 1 or 2 more plays at the contest. But they're like, well, where's the Essendon players? And they're like, oh, well, it's down back. So they're like, well, when Richmond gets it and they go forward, they're outnumbered, so they're not going to be able to get it and go past. So they were saying somebody needs to take the initiative of, oh, there's more of us here. Oh, there's more back there. We need to float back. But that was the inner defense of JR was saying it to me last night. I said, I couldn't see the whole ground. He goes, yeah, Jane Short and Banks would get it, and they would try to start their creating run and dashing, and then they'd look up, and it was no movement as well, which made it hard for our ball movement in the last half to get going anywhere. When Jane Short and Banks were running and hitting targets, it was great. But once Essendon sort of kind of flooded the ground and made it hard to move, it became a very boring game. And that's not our fault. When we can only go where we're told to go run our system, and if Essendon's been told to flood the grounds, I wasn't angry at the ball movement at the end. It was just too hard. Like, a few bad things, but we're young side. We're going to have
definitely some turnovers. The one thing that will improve that for us going forward is I think the younger forwards, and even Kaczynski not being a forward for such a long time, they don't have that anticipation of what's happening up the field to then start running into position early enough. So by the time the guys have got the ball and they've made their run, our forwards are still in the same spot they were 5 seconds earlier. That they don't read the play well enough yet. That will come in time for Jonty and Sims and whoever else is up there. But I think that felt like it was a big part of the problem, that it's just a stage of where we're at. But look, the last quarter, we managed to kick a few goals. Jacob Hopper just slots a cheeky little banana on the boundary line, if you don't mind.
Yeah, very impressive. I didn't think he had it in him.
I didn't either. Not how the game was going.
No, he could sell the candy. He can sell the candy, and he does some good running kicks. I just like, that's a very sharp angle. There's not many players that you would say that are going to get it. And he kicked it, and you can see that definitely probably changed the mood. Or probably the Taranto one prior to it, when it brought it back to being a tie game, changed the mood. But that came off Nick Velostone as well, showing you that he's still a bull at his old age. But did appreciate the hopper, and I did appreciate the Jonty Ford kick.
Yes.
I had my concerns he was going to kick it, just because him and Sims, they've got the yips. I think they've got that little man on their shoulder when it comes to kicking goals. Because I remember when Sims was going for his goal, and I'm sitting going, I don't trust him to kick it. Because then the commentators, he was a good known goal kicker when in his under 18s. I'm like, yeah, but he's got the yips. And as soon as I said it, it just went out there. But Jonty kicked it, and hopefully that's just maybe what Jonty needs to get him going. Because he creates a lot of contest. He gets up the ground. If you look at the stats they gave out last night during that, he's kicked from set shot, he's kicked 5 goals, 14. So I was like, take that into account. That's 20 shots on goal at a mark. So that shows you, as a young forward, if he's a bit more accurate, he's kicking close to 20 to 30 goals a game, in a season. And it's quite impressive for a first-year forward to do that as well. So I know he kicked 1 goal too. But in a couple of years' time, his shot will be better. His confidence will be higher. And to me, he's showing some good signs. He's a bit tired, I think, now. I definitely think he's a bit tired.
No, he's definitely showing some signs. The one thing that is maybe unfortunate for him is a lot of his shots are coming from like 55, 60 out, which are difficult for anybody. It doesn't matter if you've played 10 games or 150 games, that they're a hard shot, but he's a booming kick of the ball, so he backs himself. But yeah, the one he kicked, I was pumped for him. Good reward for effort, and you just kind of hope it takes him to another level next week. But it was good. What about Jack Ross? Interesting game from him. The second half, they decided to make the move to get him to tag Zach Merritt, which I thought probably in a lot of ways kept us in the game for the whole second half, really, because Merritt was killing us in the first.
Yeah, and he kept Merritt to 10 disposals. So after half time, he only had 10 touches, and that alone on its own is quite impressive. To keep Merritt to 10 in a half, where he normally gets close to 15 to 20 and a half on his own. So I think it's a good little bow to have on his belt that, we can't maybe don't want to drop him now because he can tag and put the clamps on a really high running full or midfield / was he playing the back line now, back/forward, isn't he, or back/mid? But I was quite impressed with it. And it wasn't like Ross went missing either. It wasn't like he wasn't touching the ball. So it was kind of good that he got the ball himself still, but also stopped the damage by doing a tagging role. So it was quite impressive for me to see that he has that extra string in his bow now.
It's good. It does. It gives another reason to leave him in. And if he's following players like Merritt, they're going to take him to where the ball is. So that should hopefully help keep his disposal count up as well, and hopefully he can use it well. Taj Houghton, debut, what did you make of it?
I woke my wife up. I was asleep to celebrate that he kicked the goal. She goes, "Were you drunk?" I was like, "No, I only had like a drink last night." She goes, "You came running through the whole entire house, jumping like a little schoolgirl." I said, "Oh, I was just so excited that all the shit that he went through to get himself to where he is now, and to get his, I think it was his second disposal would be a kick on a goal, and it was a very good mark as well. He almost jumped over the player as well, so." He's definitely got the bounce in his jump as well. So, and it was good. I think it's good for him and his family to see that the rewards there. And he's a very good. It's insane to think that even the last Jonty's goal really all came from Brown and Taj's effort and Taj's second and third effort as well, because he didn't mark the ball, but he tapped it, kept it in, went again, tackled a player, got the ball back, and then that quick little. Really good, sharp handball, which we all had reported that he was really good for, those clean one-touch handballs. And then Trezise just set up next kick was a Trezise to Jonty. So it's definitely going to be dangerous because he feels like, I keep saying Shane Edwards-esque, because that's what he feels like to me.
It does, yeah.
Those one little touch handballs that they seem like they're nothing, but they're just so much impact in those little clean, sharp handballs.
And they just free up so much space. It was... Yeah, I know he only had the 10 or 12 touches, but it's like the damage per possession is going to be really high for him, but he's also got the ability to find it 20 times, like we've seen in the VFL. He just needs the minutes behind him and just get used to AFL level. But yeah, he looked good out there. Jaden Short, nice return for him.
Yeah, I think at the start when I originally first watched it, it seemed like he was near the end. He was kind of going back to what he was prior to his injury. But then when I spoke to JR last night, he's like, "Nah, it wasn't their fault because there was no movement up the ground. You can't just stand there and hold the ball forever." So when I take that into account, you can go, well, he actually was quite good. Kicked a big goal and almost went for another one. That's when he kicked that goal. It was why I thought when he came back he would go forward.
Yes,
because he can kick a goal. He has played forward before, and besides Tom Lynch, we don't really have anybody close to 100 games experience playing AFL. So I was kind of hoping he was going to go forward because there was no Tom Lynch either. So you'd at least had another senior player in the forward line to sort of help the players get around, which he would know because he used to be a defender for so long. All the running patterns of what a forward is when you have to defend him all the time.
Yeah, I thought they would have made that move as well. But instead they threw Cozzy down there. And we saw him do it in the VFL last week. And there honestly were quite a few contests he did get to and smash into and bring the ball to ground, which was good. But then he had that handball to Sims, the drop mark where he falcon himself. A few little nervous moments that he would have maybe loved to have had back. And we all know it's a short-term thing, right? We know that that's not the long-term play. Do we have to roll with that again next week? Is there a different variant we can look at in the meantime, or where are we at with that?
The only one you could do is Blight. I don't think there's anybody else that's tall enough that has the marking ability. I'm probably not against Cozzy going again. Look, he had a couple of bad moments, but it wasn't like it was a great game in general anyway for everybody. No one had a really big moment. So you can maybe kind of forgive and forget just this one game. We've done it with a couple of players as well. But I think I originally thought maybe Noel Bolter would come back, but then I realised he can't because it's the curfew doesn't end until the following week after. And I was like, well, that's the only option you'd have is Noel Bolter coming in. But maybe give him another crack at it, and maybe next week against West Coast, he's a bit more confidence in himself after having that one game. But it's not a bad idea because, I had that question last night, who's our forward coach? And then I found out it was Chris Newman, which was a bit of a red flag for me of having a known defender. I know he's coached a lot, but as your forward coach, I thought, well, you're going to have somebody with experience, and Cozzy's the really only person we know that's played forward enough to at least help Sims and Jonty out now. So I think you give it one more week, and then after that, Noel Bolter can come back, and if Lynch isn't, I don't think Lynch is back until I think, what, 3 more weeks, I think?
Away.
Yeah, so I think it's
at this moment in time. It's just whoever's the most experienced who can get out there and play.
Yeah,
needs to do it pretty much. But
I definitely think it's going to be. I'll give him another crack because you never know. It could be next week. It could get 2 or 3 goals. It's West Coast.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's another game you might be able to get away with it in, it's potentially that one. So I just don't see anyone else coming in. Campbell Gray, well, he didn't play VFL last week. Harry Armstrong didn't play last week, so he's not going to come straight back in. And he's
McKelty can't play.
Too young. McKelty's still recovering. Gibcus, yeah.
Can Jasper?
Jasper, they said his foot's progressing, but I mean, he's not big enough to play in that key forward role.
Yeah.
So I feel like Aussie's got it for another week by default, unless they put Blight there.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
So, but we got 4 points, and that's the most important thing.
That's what I said. A win is still a win. I don't care if we were to win every game we play, win 10 wins, and every win is by a point. It's still a W, and you still get the 4 points.
Do you see us as a chance this week?
Well, I thought we'd have a better chance against West Coast than we did against Essendon. I just had that feeling. Was Essendon has been always, no matter how injured they were, they always found a way to pull out these wins that they should win.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is a chance, against Essendon, they'll find a way. And then against West Coast, really, West Coast, if you can just take their punch for 2 quarters, they roll over quite easily. So definitely, I think we're a chance. It is obviously over at Optus Stadium, so that makes it, a little bit more challenging. And Harley Reid had another thumper of a game, so he's got his mojo back. So that could be another hard one to try and stop. But maybe just send Mansell on him and get Mansell to get him pissed off, and like Jason Horne-Francis did today.
Well, I kept seeing last night commentary around, does Mansell need to be worried about the bump on Nick Martin? Have I lost my mind? Like, what?
Nah.
It was in the field of play in a contest. It wasn't like he put him into the fence or anything. It was just
he didn't really bump in that hard. He was more slight bump, but with a shove. And then Nick Martin rolled and went on to that fake turf. And then they originally thought it would just look like he would have got a bit of fake grass burn. And I didn't realize no one would have realized he did AC. He didn't look like he was in that much pain. He got just kind of slightly limped off.
And it's shit. Like, I don't want anyone to tear their ACL.
No.
I don't think that there was anything untoward. Oh, there we go. Hayden just said the MRO report come out. Mansell's cleared. I mean, there shouldn't have been anything to discuss there. That was interesting.
Well, Mansell I think Mansell's attitude the last couple of weeks, and especially this week, is probably a discussion that you'll have to have tonight with some of the fans, because he had 5 disposals and he spent more time trying to get in a scruffle with was it Archie Roberts from bloody Essendon, and that's only gave away 2 free kicks from doing it. So he's got to clean that up. He could even be a chance of not getting a game after Steely Green's 2 weeks in the VFL.
Yeah, he done a couple of good games, didn't he? I think Mansell's probably just trying to be a leader or an enforcer on such a young part of the ground, but you gotta know your limit. Like, you can't be like, we're not in a position to give away free goals to other teams. So let's not do that.
It was frustrating me last night.
Get the footy.
It started to become a bit of a flaw in his game. Like, last year was really good. I thought that's where he would kind of come back in with this year. He was always saying he wants to be a leader. But I thought after last night's game, you're not showing much of a leadership quality. It was just every moment he could, he was trying to get in a scuffle with him.
Yeah. Just got to temper himself a little bit, rein it in, and just worry about. I would rather him impact the scoreboard, and then if he wants to, if he feels the need to go and celebrate in their face if we're winning, then do that. Don't start pushing nothing. But any other final thoughts on the Tigers from last night or next week?
That's a good one. I'm hoping everyone can kind of dim it down on the hate towards Miller and Morris Rowley Jr. That's probably one thing going into next week. I think we need to probably start showing those players some respect. I think that this week just showed them again why they both actually need to be playing. And I just want us to, as a fan base, not shit on my person just because they have one bad game. That's all. Show a bit of love.
Wrap our arms around them and show them all the support and love. So it's a good message. Thank you, mate, for jumping on. Always appreciate your insights and thoughts as always. And hopefully we can do it next week with another win. Wouldn't that be nice? Jesus.
I'll cross all my fingers and toes.
Absolutely. Thanks, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Right, mate. See ya.
All right, JR in the house. How are you, mate?
How are we?
Good, good. How'd you feel watching that game?
Well, I was at the game. The most exciting thing that happened was we were on the fence, and there was a guy 2 seats next to me who was asking the Essendon players about the number of days since they won a final and asking them if they were born when that last happened.
Did any of them
that was the
reply?
point we got to. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the first quarter with the defenders, and then the forwards come up and he was doing it again.
That's pretty good
So it was
banter. I
quite
don't
funny.
mind that.
Yeah, we actually
Did any of
enjoyed the
them-
night
did any
despite
of
the
them
horror
bite?
show on the ground.
Did
Sorry?
any of the players bite and answer back?
Nah, we got no
Or did they-
responses.
No response?
They were busy trying to hit a target, I suppose. That's the sort of game it
Wow.
was.
Yeah, I think everyone was too busy trying to hit a target. It was ugly. Did you expect it to get that ugly?
No. I was on the ground with the banner crew before the game, and there was a bit of moisture on the ground, and then the dew came in, it would have got a bit worse. So we were expecting it could be a bit like that, but yeah, what we got wasn't quite what I was expecting completely. But to win it is nice.
And I was actually really impressed with Uze post game. I think Scott was really harping on about the standard of the game, and like we all saw it was shit. But Uze sort of flipped the narrative a little bit from our perspective, saying that, well, at our point in time, we don't really care what it looks like. If we can get 4 points, a win for us at this stage is far more important than anything else. So the fact we're able to get a win for Vlosten and Tash Houghton on debut makes it all worthwhile. And like I said, we've now doubled last year's results.
Yeah, it's a different topic, but just on the stand of the game, I'll just put it out there that Brad Scott was in the position to be the one person to reverse all of Shocking's changes and did nothing, and this is what we've got. So I hope he's enjoying the show.
Yeah, no, it's never been in better shape, the game. Never been in better shape.
Yeah.
Camden McIntosh, I thought he had a ripper game. It felt to me like he was a man on a mission with his relationship with Vlosten, really wanting to get the job done. He was everywhere, like deep in defense, taking marks and spoiling. And then I thought it was one of his best games for a while.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. And there was one play it was a ground ball. He picked it up and he was juggling it, but changing his direction at the same time. And he sort of stuck it out like a globetrotter with a headband. I thought it was a really good look. But I really like his game. He got back and helped out in defense as well, as you mentioned, which really helped.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it took a team defense, really. I don't think we can put it down to one player. But the other player, Tom Brown, he had some iffy disposals early, didn't he? Like there was a couple of times he tried to kick like 65-meter head-high passes over three Essendon players, but didn't give any elevation. But to his credit, I thought Tom Brown's last quarter was actually quite pivotal in the result of the game. Like that banana kick outside of defense to hit Tash Houghton on the lead. And then he snapped another one on his left foot across the face of goal to hit Trezise in the opposite pocket. Like they're ballsy kicks late in the game when it's on the line, when you've maybe not hit as many targets as you want. What did you make of his game?
Yeah, a couple of those, when he hits those kicks, they look fantastic. I don't mind him having a go because he is a good kick. He would be one that's got license to do it, I would imagine. But taking the game on, I've got no issue with that. And if they make a mistake, well, you've got to wear that when you're trying to win the game. But yeah, again, his game was really good. I'm really happy with the way he's progressing as a player. Defensively, he's getting a lot better with intercept marks and everything else. And a long kick as well, which we already know.
He was team high, 11 marks.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah, Jaden Short, 10, and Tom Brown, 11, Tyler Young, 8, Vlosten, 8, Miller, 8, Banks, 8. So it definitely felt like a game that the defenders were – it felt like we were well organised. I remember that in some of the games against the top four sides in the previous weeks, it looked like we were really disjointed and not on the same page with handing over players and things like that. But last night, it looked like they were all comfortable and covering each other really well. Even when Caddy almost took a late mark in the goal square and Miller peeled off and double backed and got a spoil in, they were all working really well together.
Yeah, I want to give Ben Miller a big shout out. He's our general down back. He was actually at stoppage. He was setting up the entire back line. So he's very much the leader down there, and it's a great sign of leadership. And I hadn't noticed him doing that before. It could have been before now. But he's having a fantastic season, and I agree with Shannon. He cops a lot of shit he doesn't deserve because he does play a role that doesn't get the plaudits. But he's very
100%.
good at what he does.
And that's why I posted a video today about the back line, and I think I said multiple times in there, the shit kicking on Miller's got to stop. There's just no need for it whatsoever. People who are doing it are just holding on to a vendetta and are factually wrong. It's as simple as that. Because people forget, I think what's happened with Ben Miller. So last year, the last 5 and 6 games of the season, collectively, our team was shithouse, and he didn't have a great run in those 5 or 6 games. Neither did anyone else. And that's what people remember. That's the Ben Miller people think about because it's the last quarter of the season. If they look at the stats prior to that for the first, other half of the season, he was still ranking in the top 5-10% of defenders. Like he's been good for a while. He just had that one bad patch that everyone latched onto. He's kicking though, like that 45-meter pass to Sims in the forward line, that was a thing of beauty. It's like, do a bit more of that for us, Ben Miller. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just have a look. I've got Willow up here. I'll just have a look at a stat because on the 1v1 loss, he's very high up on that. He's actually elite at it. Which, if I can find it here. And
I reckon Tyler Young, I know his data's probably skewed off one game, but he was another one who you could see from his VFL games that he was going to come in and always make this impact with his reading of the ball. And maybe it looks like he's gotten a bit quicker, like slimmed down and got it in a bit quicker, potentially?
I think it might have been Uze that mentioned he's made a few changes to his game, but he looked like he hadn't missed a beat, as I think Shannon mentioned. And you wouldn't think watching him play last night, he'd been out of the game for over a year. He was fantastic. And him and Ben Miller were, aside from Nate, were our highest rated players on the ground last night, which shows you just how good those two were. They work in tandem very well together.
Yeah. They just seem to have a better understanding. And I'm not trying to shit-can Bolter when I say this, but they seem to have a better understanding as those two in their first game together this year than what Miller and Bolter have had collectively in a few games this year. So
they played up until... Yeah, sorry?
Also, I mean, on that, Noah Bolter's going to come back in at some stage. I don't think his attitude's been all that great in the VFL, if I'm being brutally honest. I know there's still a few more games to go, but where does he fit into the mix now? Tyler Young, you can't boot him from that spot after a game like that.
Well, before Young went down, him and Miller had played in the back line for a year together, I think it was. So they've actually got a good chemistry going. And regarding Bolter, he's out of form as it is. I'd actually bring him back through the VFL. So if he wasn't under curfew, I would actually have him in the VFL anyway. Because his form hasn't been fantastic of late. And like you're saying, Young comes in last night, performs the way he did. You can't drop him. Noah's got to go back and earn his spot back.
I was looking at the stats today, and there was 2 things that stood out to me, and I don't know if anyone can answer this question. I wonder when the last time that we had won contested possession and uncontested possession in the same game. I don't think it would have been for quite some time. So we won contested possession 129 to 117 and uncontested 248 to 220. And I guess the reason why we won the uncontested possession kind of comes back to the ball movement piece, how we were having to halt and redirect where we were kicking the ball. So instead of just bombing it down there, we were actually maintaining possession a lot more. And whilst it looked chaotic and a bit unorganized, it actually meant we had ball retention, which was somewhat important at different parts of the game.
Yeah, well, and as you mentioned earlier with Shannon, that there was a lot of they'd flooded back, but we also weren't moving and providing targets to kick to either, so it was a bit messy in that. And I think that's something we'll have to work on over summer. There's probably a bit of work that they won't be able to get done in season on that.
I think you're right. I think whether we all like it or not, I think what we're seeing now is what we're going to see for the remainder of the season until they can actually get to work and train it, develop it, and work on it week in, week out. So yeah, I think we might be stuck with it, but it is what it is. What about Luke Traynor? Now, I don't like to point negatives out on this type of show, but I will. I'm not particularly liking Luke Traynor lowering himself and trying to get free kicks. I don't like it. It's just a bad habit, and it just gets a bad reputation. Kind of like we see Nick Watson do it. I know Selwood did it for many years. Grimes did it a few times, and then I think he snapped out of it pretty quickly. He's a better player than that, I think. And whilst I know we'd love to get some more free kicks, I just don't want to be getting him in that manner. I don't want him to get a bad name for it.
Yeah, I hate players doing that with a passion. I would actually change the interpretation, which I hate that word in the rule book as well. If a player ducks his head, that's your prior holding the ball. That'll stamp
I
it out
thought they
straight away.
did. I could have sworn they
Well, they're
did do
supposed
that,
to, I think, but they don't.
but they didn't.
But I
Yeah,
hate it when
I'm not
players do it. You
sure.
can tell they're doing it deliberately.
Yeah,
And when
yeah,
when the thing with Ginnivan started, when he stopped getting paid for it, he was actually, the game before that, he was laughing about getting paid a free kick, and that might be why they clamped down. I'm hoping they do
yeah.
that going forward.
But that aside,
Yeah,
I
I
thought Trent
don't
had a
watch
really
soccer
good
for that
game.
reason.
That aside, yeah, well, you're exactly right. But that
Yeah.
part of his
Yeah,
game
I
aside,
really enjoyed his on the
going
members
forward
wing. He
and
took a
everything.
mark one-handed on the boundary. He was
Oh,
almost
the one
preparing
hander,
for
that was a
cricket
good
scene.
one.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Well, because if he didn't do that, they had a 2-on-1 and they were away for another inside 50. So he's actually quite tall. I was standing next to him after the game. He is a big unit. So but I'm liking the flexibility of his game, playing forward, playing back, and I know with some first year players that would cause utter confusion and throw them out of the game. I think we've said it before, but because he's got such good footy IQ, I'm pretty Uze feels that he can just handle it because he's done it before. And look, I don't know where they're going to settle on his best position though. I think defense maybe is where he ultimately ends up, but I'm not fully sold on it just yet.
I think long term the plan might be that he goes back, but at the moment, while both Broad and Floston are there, he's probably doesn't have a spot there. So in order to keep playing him, he's obviously, they think he's got endurance to play him on a wing, and it's also good flexibility for the future as well, because he can play forward too. So he might end up being a bit of a utility type. But if he ends up back, well, that's where he was drafted as.
Yeah, exactly right. And what I'm loving is even with all this chopping and changing, he's still averaging like 15 to 20 touches a game. So his output's not dropping off. And yeah, maybe it is a Dan Curtin type role, tall utility. Nothing wrong with having a player like that. So I can definitely see something like that happening. I'm excited to see where his football ends up. And it's just good that we can just keep getting minutes into him, aren't we? Like he's playing game after game after game, and it's going to be good for him.
He's played every game, and that flexibility could come in handy in a big game in the future if something goes wrong with someone else, that he can plug a hole for us. It could be what wins a big game for us in the future, doing that. So the more players we have that can do that, the better.
No, I fully agree. I think if you can play multiple positions, that's an absolute weapon.
Yep.
What was the other player I had in mind? I had someone else in mind. James Trezise comes on for a quarter and has 9 disposals, 2 marks, and 170 meters gained. I mean, for me, that's grounds enough to be playing full-time minutes next week, I would have thought. I was actually surprised he didn't this week.
Well, with the players that we've got out, he should be playing the rest of the year. And on a wing, I'd have him in Hugo's spot just to see what he's got.
I agree.
And also he can hit the ground running for next year.
Yeah. We've said it before, but I think he's going to be almost certainly in our AFL team for the future.
Definitely. And he's a good height as well for that position as well. And also with the off-season coming up, we'll have decisions to make. That'll help us decide, do we need to invest in that position and get someone in, or if he can play that role, well, we don't need to worry about that because we've got Hugo one side and he can have the other wing.
And I reckon this is the longest stint of continual football he's played, like regardless of the level.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him getting some more run in his legs, but he's got AFL traits written all over him. So I've got no doubt he will be, right up there in the mix for AFL contention next year. But any other final thoughts or predictions for next week, even? How are you feeling about the Eagles game?
I saw them play today. They were good early. They just ran out of puff. I'm hoping that they're not able to get up 2 weeks in a row and might be a bit easier for us. But really, to beat them, we are going to have to play 4 quarters next week. As for final thoughts for the game, I've got something for the week of the round, but I'll leave that for the voice call for tomorrow night's show.
All right, no drama. Sounds good.
Yeah. And I'll have a question there for CB, and if he's not on, then you guys get to answer on his behalf, which could be a bit of fun. I'll leave it there.
I'm pretty sure he will be. I'm pretty sure he will be on tomorrow from what I heard today.
Right,
so,
cool.
Fire the question through for sure. But thank you for jumping on tonight. Appreciate it. And we'll speak to you tomorrow, no doubt.
Yep, and judging by his Twitter feed, he might have a bloodbath coming in for some umpiring, maybe.
Yeah, he's getting fired up, old Stevie, isn't he? He might have to bring it back again. It's good.
He brought the segment back last week, and it was basically a love letter. I mean, what's going on with the man?
It
Like,
was.
we need him to get angry.
He penned a love letter. No, we'll try and fire him. We'll try and rattle his cage a bit and see if we can unleash him tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, have a good night, mate.
ablaze.
Thank you again. That's it.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you for having us on.
No worries. Speak soon. All right, we've got Vanders on the line. How are you, mate? What's going on?
Good.
Look at this. Just
in the rocking chair, mate.
very good.
Very
How'd you feel about the game?
Look, I thought there were way more positives than there were negatives. When you talk about the ball movement, you're just talking about Trezise, Trainer, Sonsi, K-Mac. We got a lot of people going through the same positions. We had Short and Young both back in for the first time, basically this year.
Yeah.
Players haven't played a lot together, so I wasn't that disappointed with the ball movement.
It's a good point you make. You have to have that chemistry on field, don't you? Like, it's one thing to all train together in different ways, but it's not really the same as playing.
100%. And just with Trezise, I love the idea of a left footer off, as a defensive wingman coming out of the back line. He's a great ball user. He certainly puts his head over the ball, unlike maybe the other bloke that was on the wing before him.
What did you make of his game? Because a lot of people have been mentioning him in chat. He obviously got subbed out.
I just don't think he plays like a guy who's trying to save his career.
He was pretty flat on the bench, wasn't he? I'm not sure. Did the app say he was injured? I'm not sure if he actually was or not.
It said he was injured. I don't think he was, but
yeah.
But no, you mentioned Dion in the middle of the ground doing the Hulk. You can see what a game of footy means to Dion Prestia.
Yeah.
He is still such a competitive beast, and he's busting his pooper to get in there and win us the ball. And Tyler, a few of his efforts were non-efforts. And
it's now feeling like that's a couple of weeks in a row that he's found the ball, but there's been some not maybe cracking in as hard as you can. And then by contrast, Tash Houghton got smashed into a few times because he was diving into the contest to try and rip the ball out, which he did successfully one or two times. And that's sometimes the difference in the game, isn't it?
And he's tiny.
Yeah,
I didn't realise how small he was.
Yeah.
Our big boys up forward, I feel sorry for them. When that ball use isn't what we need it to be, and we're expecting Fall and Sims to take pack marks constantly. They're first-year players.
Yeah.
When they start getting some one-on-ones, they are going to terrorise people.
Jonty was starting to clunk a few more, which was good. You can see the confidence coming in his marking. It's obviously just the other part with converting his chances, but you can tell they're going to be players. Who do you think's ahead at the moment out of Sims and Jonty?
I think Jonty by a fair way, just because he's clunking more. He's getting a bit more. He's still getting shots on goal, and I actually like the fact that he's not backing off that and he's still having a shot. So it'll turn for him, but I think Sims, he's just. He's a big boy, and it's just going to take a bit more time.
He's going up against a 37-year-old veteran in the ruck, or a guy that's quite literally over 2 meters tall and built pretty well. So it's a tough gig for him. I can't recall a time where a first-round draftee key forward has played as many games in a role that's been demanding so much of him than Jonty Fall. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just too Richmond-centric, but it just feels like that not many new key forwards play the amounts as Jonty has with the importance on the role.
I think I'd go back to probably Tom Lynch at Gold Coast or whoever with a couple at GWS when they first came in, when they played all the kids. That would be the only time, I think. And I see Fall being a Tom Lynch. He is an enormous kick. He's a big boy, and he's going to clunk a lot of marks and kick a lot of goals.
because he's dangerous from range. Like you can't just let him lead to the end of the 50 because he'll kick it from 60 if he has to. Like he backs him. He doesn't even look for a pass. He knows he can kick it 70 meters almost. It's actually quite phenomenal. They're low percentage, but if he can start turning them into medium percentage shots, he could be there's no reason why he can't be a 30-year goal forward once he gets going.
Yeah, and then what we talked about earlier on message about we need some elite speed outside with elite ball use. When the ball starts going into our forward line at pace,
yes,
and you've got Harry Armstrong running around as well, I think you're going to see some pretty special stuff in our forward line.
So on the outside speed, I know we mentioned in chat about Josh Lindsay and Sam Grill, who it sounds like Grill had a good game. It might have been today, I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't see any other options at this stage. Do you feel like they're the general consensus as the best options to take with our picks?
I would have thought Hoops and Footy put up some stuff about those guys the other night, and Lindsay just looks like it. Left footer, real pace, just picks off the right kick and hits it. He looks sensational.
And we need that coming out of the back half or on any half of the ground. Put him anywhere. If he can hit a target, it's going to be meaningful and helpful for us. Yeah. What did you make of Morris Jr.'s game? Obviously not the same numbers as the week prior. Still was relatively busy.
He works. It was a Morris game, if I could put it like that. He just works so hard, and then a couple of fumbles and a couple of kicks that didn't hit the target. He could have had a sensational game, and it just but not through lack of effort. I thought his run and his chase was first class, but with just the polish. But no one else on the ground showed any polish. So
no, they definitely didn't.
So it was obviously it was one of those nights where mistakes beget mistakes, and it was hard, but I'd be sticking with him for sure.
And what about the other? I mean, Seth Campbell's another one that probably has that ability to bust a game open, doesn't he? But just they just couldn't get going. I think he had a bit of a run through the middle of the ground, having a bounce or two in the last quarter. But yeah, again, like you said, a bit of a dirty day for the Smalls. No one from either side could get going. It was
When we're bringing it out on a slow ball, Seth needs fast ball. When we get it out and give him the opportunity to run, he is very quick. He's very smart, and I don't think he gets beaten one-on-one when there's a ball up for grabs.
Yeah.
So seeing our back line, people mentioning Miller, I'll challenge anyone who's seen 2 or 3 better kicks than Miller's done in the back line in the last couple of weeks, picking off 45-meter lasers across the ground.
Sims. And his work out of the back line. I had to do a double take when he hit Sims. I'm like, that's gone like a good distance and just nailed him. Yeah. He must have worked really hard on this part of his game, which is good.
I think he's always been a pretty decent kick, but he just hasn't had the confidence to try and pick it off.
Yeah.
Whereas now, and I mean, add that up with Short and Brown. I know you mentioned Brown, missed a few last night, but again, generally, he's just such a magnificent kick. He opens up the ground.
Yeah, and again, what was impressive with Brown and a lot of our youngsters, that even if they do miss some early, they're not afraid to keep trying it again. And they hit them later on in more important stages. Trainer's kind of the same. He'll sometimes miss the odd pass here and there, but then he'll nail a couple. And hopefully we just bridge that gap through time and they become more consistent at those dangerous passes.
And I think seeing Adam down on the bench last night, you can see the way he's talking. He's not, as much as we'd like to win, he's not coaching for wins. He's coaching for moment to moment to moment with those young blokes. And he's just asking them to do the things he wants them to do. So
I think I really do prefer him on the ground. I think in this phase of development with the kids, it is so important and can be so much more beneficial having that face-to-face direct contact with the coach just to get a better understanding of the guidance and what he wants them to do. I think it's where he's got to stay.
Yeah. I'll just chuck one back at you. No one seems to ever talk about him, but what have you made of Nank?
Yeah, it was an interesting game from Nank. I probably felt like I expected him to dominate Goldstein more, and maybe it's me not paying Goldie a bit more respect given how old he is, but he's just a warrior. But like, I don't think he got beaten by Goldstein. It didn't feel like he kind of felt like a break even. Would have loved for him to have been paid that mark deep in the forward line. I thought he held that for long enough because that would have been a really nice, I think even the commentators, when I rewatched it, they couldn't believe it either. I think that would have been a really nice lifting captain's goal. But still, his work rate around the ground, he still drops back and plugs up holes. He's a warrior for us. What did you make of his game?
I just felt like every important moment he's involved in.
Yeah. And Goldstein's got him covered for height and probably strength as well. So he's fighting above his weight a lot of the weeks, isn't he?
He always is, but his growth into the captaincy and the way, like, when was the last time he gave away a crap free kick?
And we all said that when in his first couple of seasons doing it, that was the issue, wasn't it? It was the undisciplined acts. Even Grimes was doing it too. And I get you want to fly the flag and be a leader, but he's now worked out the balance of he can be aggressive, but he can be aggressive in the right way. And I was one who was maybe thinking they could have gone with Taranto this year, but I'm glad it was Nank. Honestly, I think he's done a brilliant job again.
And when you mentioned Grimes, I think we saw our Grimes Mark II make his comeback last night.
Tyler?
Jeez,
he was good.
He's got all the same traits.
Just composed, weren't like they didn't look flustered with ball in hands. He's got good enough strength to outbody players as well and take marks. So I'd be keen to see how he goes again this week against the Eagles because they've got some youngish forwards down there as well now. So it should be an interesting battle, actually.
Yeah, I think we'll have our work cut out.
And what about your thoughts on Nick Vlauston? 250 games, great servant of the club.
He's been an amazing player, and he's ridden the full Tiger roller coaster in his career. He's been there when we've been down, and he's been there through obviously the 3 premierships as well. And still shits me that he hasn't been All-Australian.
Oh, I know.
Especially when that chump from Port Adelaide's got one.
Burn Jones, yeah.
Oh my God. Does me head in. His level of consistency and competitiveness, for an undersized guy to play the role that he plays, he's been amazing.
Who replaced? We don't want to think about it when the time comes, but it will come at some stage soon. Who takes over his role?
I think it's Brown at the moment.
Yeah, and he's starting to get his fair share of marks as well. It's actually quite nice. They can learn off players like Vlauston and Broad in real time in games while they can.
Yep. But look, obviously, I think Trainer will end up going back. But I think at the moment, Brown is his ability to read the ball in the air. He's made super improvement this year. It'd be between him and Banks to be our most improved player, I would have thought. Banks has had a sensational 2 months.
What did you make of him working in tandem with Jaden Shaw? It's probably the first time we've seen them both on the half back line. I know they tried to create drive all game, but weren't able to execute. But can you see it working?
I can. And the best thing was watching Banks early in the game last night sneak up and take that handball and kick a goal. So he's still playing the game. He hasn't gone away from the game that he was playing.
Yes.
And nor should he, because he's made that spot his own. I probably felt that in some weeks we've been a little bit tall down back. So actually having Shorty come back there with him probably works best at the moment.
I agree. I was worried that it was going to diminish the role that he's been playing. But I don't mind if they're both playing an aggressive halfback role, because they both ended up kicking a goal on the night, which was good, much from the same way. I know Shorty got that pass from Vlauston, but the long range goals are worth their weight in gold. So it could be a good little 1-2 punch with those two.
Yeah, and I think Banksy has learned defend first mentality. He knows he's got to defend first, and then when he gets his opportunity to run, he's running hard. He's putting up great GPS numbers. So, yeah, loving it.
Very good. And what are your final thoughts on the Tigers and a prediction for next week against the Eagles? How are we going to go there?
Yeah, I think it'll be a battle. I think they would certainly, after we've won this week and they're in no danger of going past us on the ladder, they'll be penciling this one in for, they really want to have a crack to have another win and give their young blokes a bit of something to celebrate.
Yeah, they might be after a bit of payback after we knocked them off on our home deck. They'll want to get one back on their home deck.
But if we get in and have a crack, I don't care.
That's it. And again, stranger things have happened, I suppose. I mean, if we do happen to pull off a win and jump above the Kangaroos, that would be extraordinarily funny as well.
Yes, it would be.
So
still thanking Will Thursfield for looking after the Tigers.
I know. The death ride's still going really well. We had a nice little result today. So the D skip ahead by another 4 points, which is good. So we're almost getting to the pointy end of locking in. I think we can almost say it's going to be a top 5 pick now. We're pretty close to that.
Got to be. But if the Saints, they should have won.
I know. They could have capped off a really good weekend, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we would have been home and hose then.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing that they did that. But no, thank you for jumping on tonight, Vanders. Appreciate your thoughts. Hopefully we can do it all again next week with another win.
Will do. Good on you. See ya.
Thanks, mate. All right, we'll bring Brad onto the stage. Brad, how are you, mate?
Good. How are you, Michaels?
Going well. Have you recovered after the massive game from last night and how well it looked? Your eyes been burnt? Or...
No, it was all right, actually. I didn't mind it. I was just watching at home and, I don't know. See, I watched the footy without on mute because the commentators do my head in. And I probably didn't find it as bad as what they were carrying on after watching some of the highlights. So,
gee, tough gig to find a highlight reel. I saw they dropped an 8-minute one. That couldn't have been too much involved in that, I wouldn't have thought.
I watched the KO mini. It was quite funny. Like all the highlights of the second and the third quarter were like people kicking points. That's all it was.
Yeah, rebound 50s and then another rebound 50.
That's right.
It was all happening. But look, anyway. 4 points is 4 points. I mean, coming into the week, did you give us a chance to win this game?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably more so because I don't rate Essendon at all. I mean, they've been pretty hard hit with injuries and whatnot, and that's just footy. But I did. Yeah. I think our kids are going pretty well. I think they're showing a bit. It didn't surprise me that we won.
How much value is it in winning close games like that? I mean, it was an absolute just shit show, really, but they found a way to win because we were behind sort of in the last part of the game, and we weren't kicking many goals. We hadn't kicked a goal for almost an hour. So then find a way to kick 3 1/4. I think that does a lot for the young kids.
It's massive. And we don't give up. And that's something that's I've been pretty proud of them all year long is that we really don't give up. And like for Jonty to kick that last goal, just think how much that's going to do for him with the struggles that he's had kicking goals. That's massive. And they just get around him. Trainers getting around him every time. You watch when we kick a goal, first bloke that's there is bloody Luke Trainer. Like he loves it.
I think I used a photo of the Jacob Hopper goal, and he was first one in, grabbing Jacob Hopper and celebrating, which was a ridiculous goal, but
it was.
He loved it.
I didn't know what he was doing. I was like, no one does the old check side anymore. It's always usually the snap around the corner, and he looked like he didn't know what he was going to do. But
I know. Yeah. I'm like, when they look like this is just going straight out in the full across the face of goal, and it's going to go nowhere. But yeah, a timely goal for him. The Tash Houghton debut, you a fan?
Yes, big fan. I think like watching the VFL games the last few weeks, he's got that split second moment before either he's going to get the ball or he's going to get collected by someone. You can see his mind working that he needs to just little sidestep here, little sidestep there, quick little hands, a dive in and a punch. He looks pretty special. Yeah.
I think there's a few people within the club who think that he could be the best of the lot.
Yeah.
Which
is saying something, because as I said, I've been very impressed with like Sammy Lawler, this year.
Yeah.
So look, it's great for us, isn't it?
I know, it's just nice to have both of them, and that was the beauty having the 8 picks, that we could take the risk on a Taj Houghton, who by all rights should have been top 5. Really, there'll come a point in time in 2 or 3 years where teams will be like, shit, we should have just taken the punt here.
Yeah. I was a little bit worried when we took Houghton. I was like, I don't know about the knees and that, but look, he's been outstanding. Yeah.
No, he's been very solid. Kazitsky, yes or no for next week? And if no, who else comes in?
I don't think you've got any other options at the moment. I think he played a role. Like he presented, he took marks when he had to. A few brain fades, but like you said, like you were saying earlier before, he hasn't played forward all year long. Like he's been holding up the full back in the VFL all year long.
Yeah.
So I think in the circumstances, he did his role. He presented. I don't think he was outmarked very often.
He actually did. He showed quite a bit of desperation at times to bring the ball to ground and really get into contest.
Yeah,
it's just the finishing off part of like that one he handballed.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of to try and justify it in my own mind is he must have thought he was going to get put on the boundary line and just didn't back himself to kick it.
Yeah.
But yeah, geez, you'd want to be making sure of that a bit more often.
Yeah, there's a little bit of panic in that, but you would have liked to him just to sit there and take up a bit more time and hold it up a bit. But anyway, hey, look.
That was probably the main thing. It was like, take the 30 seconds, just give us some extra time off the clock.
Yeah.
But I don't really think we've got another option at this point in time. Well, the secondary part of the question is Jacob Blight obviously went back to the VFL, had another big game stat-wise in defence. He would be the only other player currently available that we could put in and roll up forward in the same type of manner that he was played.
Yeah.
Where do you see? But the Blight one's interesting. The fact that he got dropped after it was announced that there was a contract trigger clause. I don't think he did too much wrong in his AFL game. I don't know whether we'll see him back in again.
I didn't get to see the Geelong one last week. I had something on, and I was quite surprised he was dropped. It'd be nice to take him over west and just show him off the West Coast this week in case there was a future trade that might open up. But look, you'd think that they've picked Kazitsky to go up there and do that. So I can't see them changing it. Nah, which is disappointing. I like Blight. I'd love to give him a go, but in saying that, like Tyler Young comes in and does a bloody great job on Saturday night. Like a lot of people said, didn't miss a beat. Like it was unreal. So
if you're putting Blight and Tyler Young side by side as comparisons with who you got to pick going forward, who are you picking?
Well, I think defensively, I don't know. Probably Tyler Young, really. Like after seeing how confident he looked at that level, probably have to pick Tyler Young. Yeah.
And there's still Campbell Gray's yet to make a return as well. That seemed to look good at level, didn't he?
Yeah, he was out. Yeah, like another great one. We've got too many.
I think I can like 8 or 9. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. You'd like missing Lynch, and now Bolter obviously has his a few weeks off. Like you just love for one of them to be able to go forward and just do something. And I suppose that's what we're doing with Kazitsky. But yeah, I don't know.
And like the Cosy one,
his injury was a terrible timing because
I know
he really did look like what Young did the other night. Like he looked confident at the level. And
he can play both ends as well.
Yeah, well he can. Yeah.
Campbell Gray, so he would have been perfect. And even the Lafau one as well. Like, both those injuries hurt dramatically with the structure of our team. Yeah. But there you go, just in time. Add Blight in for the trade package for Harley. Everyone's all across it. The WA go home factor. I mean, they're in the market for a key defender with losing McGovern and Barras in back-to-back years. So,
for me, he's always been the natural one that if they were looking for something, being a Western Australian
He'd be the one, yeah.
boy, would hopefully want to go home.
What have you made of the midfield group? Again, last night we didn't see any new members into the CBA elite category. It was still Taranto, Prestia, Hopper, Ross, but maybe it felt like it worked a bit better last night, so they were able to persist with it for longer.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm probably been a little bit frustrated that we haven't tried a little bit more throughout there, and especially in the games where we've been getting pumped. Like, give them a go. Like, give someone a go. Like, obviously, give Tyler a go in there. Like, we drafted him as a midfielder. Just give him a go. Let's see what he's got. And then they haven't for some reason.
And that's the thing. I don't mind running that midfield group when the game's on the line. If that's who we think or the coach think is the best options available, fine. But like you said, when the game's done and dusted, try and put someone else through. But Timmy Taranto, 34 touches, 7 marks, 5 tackles, 4 clearances, 1 goal, a timely goal. Close to best on ground, really. He had a really good game.
Yeah, I think he was. He's trying his guts out. Did Taj get any? He didn't get any CBAs.
I don't believe so. No, he was up around different stoppages, but not in the middle.
Yeah, no, I noticed a lot. They put him in the VFL in a few, so I did wonder whether they might sneak him for a couple at least. But
Uze said pre-game that because someone made mention of exactly that, and he said, "We'd like to, but I think the hint was that they'll look to do it in the last couple of games. They'll build him up to it.
That's fair,
which is fine.
First day of the game, you don't have to throw him in.
I mean, it would have been ballsy. Chuck him in centre bounce, first one, off you go, mate. Just crack on with it. But
especially with the way the game is going, like it's a close game all game long. Like, but yeah, like it'd be nice to get Seth in there a little bit more, get some speed in there. Morris, I mean, I probably don't quite see it, but just some speed in there. Like, we just seem just very, very one paced, which is probably my biggest worry with that. But Dion's come back and Dion's playing really well, and probably not what a lot of us expected was going to happen. Like, with his injuries, you like, it's probably the most games he's played in a row in a long time.
Yeah, and at a good level too. Like, there's not been a drop off at all, and maybe there's a conversation that's going to be had at the end of the year where, I don't know, maybe the club wants to go one direction that might be younger, and I feel like at this stage he might feel like he's got more to offer.
Yeah.
Would you offer him a deal? Would you want to keep him around?
I think you do. I mean, look, he's likely to break down again, really, with how his body's gone. But I think with him and Lynch, I think what you're getting from them, experience-wise, it's been spoken about before. It's like having another assistant coach there, like with their experience and that. So we've got a lot of learning to do still. And you look at what like Brown's learning from Vlosten in the back half, or like all those sorts of things where they've got these players that they can copy off of.
On the job
learning the inside craft of Dion Prestia is going to be a good thing.
Yeah, and it's such a catch-22 because it does take minutes away from a Lawler, a Smiley, a Houghton, or whatever. But once we can get the balance right and start blending a few of them in, to learn off them in real time, I think sets us up a lot better than just throwing the kids straight in there and just saying, there you go, you can sink or swim.
Yeah, you look when Gold Coast, the Sun started and they just had a whole heap of kids, or the Giants. It just took them so long because they didn't have those older heads in there. Uze said it earlier in the year. He said, look, we don't have to go and poach like ex-premiership players off teams to help our kids develop. We've got them. Like, we've got them here. So let's use them.
100%. I'm all for that. Camden McIntosh, similar kind of question. Do you roll him around again for another year if he wants to as well?
I suppose I haven't really actually even looked at the list numbers and what we're going to be doing with any of that sort of stuff. I think he's great for the club, like as far as around the club and setting standards and trainings and whatnot. Great. And if list wise it works, then I'd be happy to have him on. I'd be happy to have him there. You'd like to think that there's probably going to be a couple that might maybe overtake him next year, and he may end up playing a bit of VFL football, which is what a lot were predicting this year. But I mean, it's another great clubman.
There'll be a passing of the guard at some stage for both of those players most
Yep.
likely next year as well.
Yeah.
And similar to Lynch as well, I still think we need Lynchy to play another year.
Yep.
We've seen how dysfunctional the forward line is without a senior body. Lafau could probably play the role, though, I guess, if push come to shove, because he's done it before.
Yeah. Probably not as confident with Lafau being that main man. Like, I think he'd be a great second banana. But which is why I really want to see it. I want to see them play some games together. They just haven't really crossed over all that much just yet. So
no, it was just that one, and then we obviously lost the foul pretty early in the piece, which is a bit annoying. All right, what are your thoughts for next week? How are we going to go against the Eagles?
Oh, this is going to be their grand final. They'll be up and about for it. Be nice to have a win so we can just show Harley what we've got a little bit more, perhaps. I don't know. We can win. Like, we can absolutely win, and be great for the young kids to get another trip heading over the other side of the country. Like, good team bonding. I just think West Coast are going to be really up for it.
Yeah,
this will be their last chance, not their last chances. So
I was about to say exactly. I haven't looked at the fixture, but I assume this will be what they feel like is one of their last opportunities to win a game that would feel as close to a certainty as it could for them. Without it being disrespectful.
They haven't been terrible. Like,
no, they haven't.
Games like they should have knocked North off that game, and they were really competitive today against Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
So I think someone said in the media there, like, it might have been Jack actually. You can see Minnie sort of starting to get his hands on these players, and they're starting to learn what he's wanting them to learn. So so they're not as bad as I'd probably rather their list than Essendon's list, but yeah.
Or Carlton's, maybe, for that matter.
Oh, Carlton's, yeah. Oh, geez, that's going to get worse.
I know. Someone made an interesting point to me today about, we were talking about how dysfunctional our forward line was or is, and how, due to the inexperience, they're like, but Carlton's is just as dysfunctional, and they've got Kerno, Mackay, and all these other big name players in all these games. Well, that's a good point.
They look checked out. They just look like, I don't know. They have,
Oh, they could end up in the bottom four.
Really?
I think Essendon are a sneaky chance too if they keep losing. Well,
as long as they all stay above North, then I don't really care.
That's right. That's where we draw the line. We can't be having people go below North, and that's why next week I think there's now a lot more on the line for our games, because it does give us a chance to leapfrog North. We do play them as well in Tasmania, but they're probably playing well too.
Yeah, who do North play next week? Sydney.
I think it is, because I think people were worried today that if the Saints had knocked off Swans, it might have knocked them out of contention. They might have just rolled over and given up.
Yeah.
But now their season's on the line again. They should get the win. Fingers crossed. But thanks for joining us tonight, Brad. Appreciate your thoughts, and hopefully we can do it again next week with another win under our belt.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Speak soon. All right. Black Crow, welcome. How are you, mates?
Good, yourself?
Going well. You recovered from the massive game of Saturday night. You're going to buy it, name a game. Have you put your order in yet?
Mate, it was exhilarating, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's good. I did appreciate the club putting out that tweet with the name a game mock-up saying, we'll still buy it, with an image over the top.
Take what you can get on these ones.
Yeah, I know. 4 points is 4 points, as they say.
Exactly. You look back on it and it doesn't matter about the score. It just matters who got the win and who got the loss.
Do you reckon that would be hard as a coach? Like, we often hear Uze talk about they don't worry, and I don't know how much of this is just media trained stuff versus reality, but they're always like, we don't worry about the score. It's all about just the process. I reckon that'd be really tricky. You would know when the game's going real shit that you just haven't scored a goal for an hour.
It would definitely take a toll on you, especially when it's happening like week after week as well. It's, and like, for the first, I think at the start of the year, for example, we obviously as supporters, and I think the players did a little bit as well, come in with the expectation that they weren't going to win a whole heap of games. And I think in the first few weeks, they're like, we can just trot along. We'll learn from the losses. But then we coughed 7 losses or something in a row. And I think over that period of time, it can start to wear down. But they're holding really strong mentally. Like, to me, And it showed last night, as scrappy and as much of a shit fight as it was, they hung in there and they found a way to win. And that's what I thought was really impressive.
Yeah. And that's been Uze's mantra for a couple of weeks now, especially in those big loss games, that it was kind of just one quarter of damage, but we didn't roll over. And I did see a lot of comments about it, sort of not mocking him or saying, oh, it's a cop out, but it's ultimately true, right? It would be easy just to roll over and then for them to blow out into 150-point games. So the fact they weren't, we are sometimes clutching at straws on those positives, but they were still positives. And, we spoke about during the week that the Essendon game for us was always going to be a bit more of a guide on how far we've come, because that was always a game we felt like we should at least be in or at least win. So the fact we actually got the 4 points, I think that's a really good sign for the back half of our season, because you would be easily forgiven to think that the bottom end could have fallen out with kids getting tired and, losing streak and whatnot. So to jag another 4 points when not many people thought we would win another game for the rest of the year was good.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you on that one. Like, the thing that I thought was a really good response, if you go back to a few weeks ago when we played them, it was pretty close for the most part, again, when we played them a couple of weeks ago. But in, I think, the third or fourth quarter, we kind of just ran out of puff, and that they kind of just got over us in the end. And it was good to see us stick out the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
We're lucky that both teams couldn't kick for shit in the second quarter, especially because Essendon did have more scoring opportunities than we did. So for the most part, I think it was probably if not one of our most consistent games we played this year. I'd say we put probably about 3.5 quarters of good footy together, which we haven't been able to do for a while.
Do you reckon we changed our second quarter mentality a little bit? Because they've typically been the quarters that we get blown out in. A few people maybe made some observations or some theories that did we go a bit more defensive to try and not have the same blowout, or was it just how the quarter unfolded? Because it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. It's an interesting take. I think that it could have been, to be fair, a combination of both. I don't think we probably expected it to be that close. And when we did have a lot of opportunities in the second quarter, we didn't really know what to do with it. But the thing that I think really kept us in the game, and I mean, you already made a video about it, was our defense. If we don't have those guys, we're screwed. Like, I really liked seeing Banks and Short down back together. I thought that was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, actually. I think long term, it's good because Banks is out there learning and developing, and Shorty has been a good player doing it for a while, albeit for maybe the past season and a bit. He's had a bit of a slump, but for the most part, he's been very consistent and very good for us. And I think having them both out there together allows Banks to see Short's teachings in real time.
I can't remember if they played both halfback together earlier in the year or not. If they did, it wouldn't have been very often, because I know Banks was playing on the wing a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think Banks, because I had a bit of a look to see if they ever had been on the ground for a long time together. I think as close as it got was Banks was on the wing and Short was running off halfback, and then Shorty got injured, and then that's when Banks went down back.
Okay, so now we'll get to see for a block of games both of them. Yeah, working in tandem. And like we were saying earlier, I love that they were both still aggressive, especially Banks. He didn't want him to go into his shell, which was good to see.
No, and it was good to get both, like, a few small backs down there too, because I think we've been a bit tall, and I think somebody else said that. It's good to have a little bit of mobility. Balanced? Yeah, I did. I think that was probably one of our best defense. I mean, we didn't, like my dad and I talked about it. If we were playing a decent team, but either of these teams would have got flogged, but because we were both on the same skill level, I think it was probably one of our best defensive games we've had, in terms of, like, it wasn't skillful or anything like that, but I think just the fight for the guys down back was really good, and they didn't really give up. And yeah, I couldn't really name a bad play down back, to be honest.
There's some really impressive late spoils as well. I think Nathan Broad had a good one in the middle of the ground on Josh Caddy. Vlosten had one at the end of the game. Miller had one late. It just felt like I said before, but it felt like they're all in tune with each other and what was needed, who was covering who. It was, I don't know, it just felt like a more calm and composed back line. Yeah.
And I think to add to it as well, I think it was the fact that it was Nick's 250th. I think that kind of gave us a bit of a spur on as well.
Yeah.
And I think because all the guys, I think out of the whole team, the back section wanted to stand up the most for Nick, because obviously that's where he plays. And I think they did him proud. Like, nobody down back was bad. They were all solid. Tyler Young had a really good return game. Ben Miller, man, I hate everybody just shit canning him. He's been fantastic. Yeah, I can't name a bad person down back, to be honest. Like I said, they were all just solid.
That's good. That is a good point. They were huge. And even in the games that we've lost, they've still been like the better performers, but just the sheer weight and the volume of the ball going down there, it's bound to break eventually. What would you do to fix up the forward mess that we've got, though? I know we've got limited options currently with who's not available. Is there anything else you would try and fix up the connection between defence to midfield to forward?
Look, I hate bagging players. It's not my thing at all. But my dad and I have this nickname for a certain player. I really don't want Kashitsky to be in the team. He has some efforts, but like when he had that brain fade of handballing it, I honestly nearly fell off my chair. I couldn't believe that. I was screaming at the TV. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it didn't look great.
No, I think, look, that's just a little inside joke, the last name. I don't think he's as bad as people say he is. He does some pretty silly things, but his intent and his effort is there. Like I was listening to you before, he was desperate to get to a few of the packs and just compete, which is what we needed. But I think a lot of people are forgetting about one guy, and I personally think he'd be a good fit up forward, because when all our players come back from injuries, we're going to have major selection headaches. Our back line, for the most part, I think is pretty much locked in. I would like to either see Josh Gibcus come up forward, because he's done it. He did it against Sydney a few years ago, and he had a really good game. Or Jacob Blight. I don't know what he has done wrong to be dropped. I really don't.
Yeah, I've been big on seeing Gibcus play forward as well. He just hasn't had. I know it's only second game back, so he's not at there just yet. But if he keeps improving the output over the next few weeks, and we've still got the same issues with the forward mixture, whether it's because Lynch is still out or whatever it might be, then you could maybe turn to him and ask the question. But I think for the next 2 or 3 weeks, the immediate future, it does feel like it's out of Cozzy and Blight. I don't know whether they don't want to trigger the extra contract. I'm not sure what the go is, but
that's what I actually wanted to ask you. What was sorry to butt in there. I wanted to just ask you before I got what I heard you mention. What was this trade clause with Blight? Because I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it was I can't remember who it was in the media that reported it, but apparently he's at a point now that if he plays one more AFL game, that it triggers an automatic contract extension. I'm not sure what that duration is or what that looks like, but the week that came out in the media, he got dropped, which I found really interesting.
They better friggin' play him. I don't want him leaving. I reckon he's going to be such a good backman. He's a big body that we've got big backmen, but we don't have a big bodied backman. Like when we had Robbie Tarrant, for example. He was a big bodied backman, and I think he took some really good matchups. And I think that's what Blight would be able to do. And to be honest as well, he's very athletic and mobile for a big dude. I just don't know why he's been dropped, because he gets dropped and then goes back to the VFL, has an absolute blinder, and then has another good week in the VFL, and then comes back and gets dropped again. So I don't know what's going on.
I'm resigned to the fact that he's gone. It just, nothing adds up for me to say that he's staying. And because we've got so much depth in that area now too, but I've also been on record as saying that I wouldn't mind seeing him trialed forward. But it's a tricky one now, because I now start to wonder, is there benefit in having Cozzy there again from a consistency standpoint? Do we see a 5% increase? I know that's only small, but do we see a small increase from the whole forward connectivity, having the same people up there again for a consecutive week?
Yeah, look, I'll put it this way. If Kazitsky stays in, he has to have a good game next week, because it's going to be an arm wrestle again. This is a very winnable game again next week. I do think West Coast will be up and about, especially because it's on their home turf, and we had the Titanic saving tackle of Tom Brown last time.
Oh, we did too. Yes,
that might be living rent free in their heads a little bit.
Yeah, and look, it is only short term Cozzy playing this role. We all know that it's just a bit of a stopgap, but
a bit of a band-aid.
Yeah, just needs to keep, whoever it is, whether it's him, Blight, whoever it might be, just needs to keep fighting in the air and give our other guys half a chance. What about Sims and Jonty Fall? What did you make of their game, and how have you seen their season, and what are you hoping to see for the rest of the year for them?
I like Sims a lot. I think he's a better ruckman though than he is a forward, in my opinion. And honestly, this might be a big take. So I don't know if people will dack me for it, but I honestly think Jonty reminds me of a very young Richo. That is a huge call, I know. But the way he plays and the way he attacks the footy and how mobile he is for a big dude just kind of reminds me a lot of Matthew Richardson as a younger player. So
don't mind it. He's pretty clean with picking the ball up too, isn't he? Like, he's actually really good at ground level, which really helps because the ball does end up there quite a bit because it's not kicked to him properly.
Yeah, the other thing that reminds me of him being like a Richo clone is he can't kick a goal from dead in front, but he can bang one out from 60 on an angle.
Yeah, well, he missed the one early in the first quarter, which was a bit of a shame. But that last one, like we spoke about earlier, but the confidence he gets from that, it's almost a shame that he couldn't kick a goal like that at the start of the game. Like, I'd love to see him kick 1 or 2 goals in the first quarter from his first 2 kicks to see what that then does to him for the rest of the game confidence-wise.
Yeah, look, I think his confidence is definitely growing and whatnot, week in and week out. And I feel like if we were to drop him at any point, like touch wood, he doesn't. He's been very good for us over the last coming weeks and whatnot. And I think hopefully by this time next year, those missed goals that he has had, like the behinds, I think he'll convert at least half of them into like potential scoring shots. I just think I've seen people commenting on it. We've got to remember, we haven't had a full preseason under like our draftees' belts because most of them have been injured.
Well, Jonty came to the club with back issues as well, so he had even less of a lead in than some of the other players. But then I sort of trying to work out how does it work next year with or even later on this year. Armstrong could be back into the mix, and we've not seen Armstrong and Fall on the same side yet either.
Yeah, it's a good selection headache to have. I do think it's going to be a situation of having one in, one out each week until Lynch retires. That's my take on it, because you need to have a senior head in there. Unless there's a winnable game, like an absolute gettable game against like next year against like West Coast, North or Essendon or something like that, screw it. Try it. Let Lynch have a rest. He's an older fella. Put the 2 young fellas up forward and see what they can do.
I think we've got to see it. Well, it's going to happen at some stage, isn't it? Whether it's, I mean, not saying to do it full time next year, but I think we'll definitely see it at some point. What are you wanting to see for the rest of the year? We've got a handful of games left. How many of them do you think are winnable?
Definitely next week. Funnily enough, I actually tipped us against Essendon 1-39 on the weekend. So,
very beauty. Nice.
Yeah, but I think next week, I actually reckon next week will be harder than this week. I honestly wasn't too nervous about the Essendon game. I knew it would be close, but I think that we had, with the team that we had on the field, I think that we were just a better looking list. I liked what we looked like. Next week, though, I mean, Harley Reid has been up and about massively the last few weeks. So, yeah, I think next week's going to be a tougher game. But, yeah, I think next week's very winnable. Leading into the back end of the year, I just really want to see effort. That's all I ask. If we get belted, so be it. I just want to see us try for 4 quarters and not get spanked in 1 quarter in particular, you know? So.
Yeah. For me, it's still about making sure there's no 100-point loss. And, I mean, this next one feels very out of reach now, given the current setup of the side. Would still love to see 100 points kicked, but I honestly can't see us kicking close to 80 or 90, far be it 100.
No, not without Lynchy, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'll take an extraordinary amount of luck. You mentioned Harley Reid before. A few people have been putting in chat about still the possibility that maybe on the table of Reid wanting to exit West Coast, and if we're still in the hunt and whatnot, would you still be wanting to entertain the idea if he was willing to leave?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I was going to add on to it by saying if Blight is going to go, I want something good for Blight, and I want Harley Reid. Then I'll be happy.
Just a straight swap. No other picks. That'll do. Just a straight swap.
Yeah, just straight swap. No, I think I saw a little bit of a rumor. I don't know if you'd seen it. And I think one of the other footy channels that I follow posted it. I can't think of his name. Otherwise I would have given him a shout out. But he was talking about us trading like our pick 2 for first rounders from Sydney or something like that, which I thought was quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, a
thought
few
that was
people
quite
have
interesting.
flagged that, and I think some people said Gold Coast might be another one that might look to get a split pick or to get a pick ahead of their maybe academy picks and then get rid of their other first round picks. There's lots of ways it'll work, and I guess with the 2 picks that we probably have some currency that other people want as well, which is handy. But I mean, draft wise, I'm still drawn to Lindsay and Grill as needs, but it's still a very tantalizing and tempting prospect if Harley Reid is actually on the table and a chance if he does want to go this year. I mean, I still wouldn't want to get. I wouldn't want to lose both picks. You want to have at least one, but I think you would still have to entertain the conversation.
Oh, 100%. Like, if he's open to coming to us, I feel like we'd have to not chuck the book at him, but give him what we feel he's worth, and whatnot, and not do a stupid trade where we get rid of everything. If we give away a player like Jacob Blight, for example, and like a pick or 2, I feel like that could be reasonable. But as much as I hate to say it, I honestly think I see him joining Geelong personally. That's where I reckon he's going to end up. As much as I hate to say it, because I reckon he looks good in a yellow and black jumper.
I mean, Geelong are somehow in the mix for everybody, aren't they?
Yeah, very true.
Nick Boston, 250 games. What have you been some of your favourite moments of Nick Vlaston playing over his career at Punt Road?
My favourite moment, and I was there to witness it, was when he took a jump over Lance Franklin. That was the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
I think
made
they
him
used that in
look
the
like an
highlights package
absolute
at the
mug.
ground.
Yeah, made him look like a mug that game. He's just been he's never had a bad game, really, has he? He's just been so good for so long.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find one, honestly. And you can't say that about too many players. He's just been ultra consistent for so many years.
Yeah, and touch wood, like, I don't want to jinx anything, but heaps of people that I was seeing in the media talking about him said 2 things about him, and the players did too. They said ultra consistent and ultra durable, and I couldn't agree with that any more than 100%. Like, and he's a nice guy. Like, I've been to a few training sessions and players walk past you or whatever. You're like, okay, yep, whatever. He comes up, gets photos, has a chat, signed a bunch of stuff. Yeah, he seems like a genuine dude. And I really think that I don't know if you saw the Cody Waitman thing where he drew on
the
a surfboard. I thought that was really cool, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just goes to show how tight knit the AFL is.
Exactly right. Just the respect that he's got in the AFL community. Doesn't come as a surprise, really, but a really nice touch from Cody to do that. And just nice to send him off with a win, which was good.
Because we haven't been able to give a lot of our milestone players wins and whatnot over the last few years, which has been a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Especially probably the biggest bloke that deserved it, Dusty, But it was nice to give it to Velocity. I really feel like he deserved it, and I was ultra happy for the boys. And I hope he's got a lot more years left in him because he's just so exciting to watch.
And Tyler Sonzi, what did you make of his game?
I felt so bad for him. He was so upset on the bench, wasn't he? He cracked the nana big time.
Yeah, he did. I couldn't quite work out if the app was right and it was injury related, or if he was just pissed off because he thought someone else might have been deserving of being subbed. I know Mansell didn't have many disposals. Sims didn't have many disposals, but I mean, by default, he's the backup ruck, so he probably stays on the field.
Yeah, I don't think it was injury. I think he got dragged. I went back and watched like the highlights to see, and nothing. He just come off the ground and he just had the shit. So I think it was he got dragged and just wasn't too happy about it, to be honest. But to be fair, like he's a very tough one because I do like him. He goes to the VFL, has great games, comes into us pretty subpar, goes back to the VFL, has really good games again, comes back subpar. Like, he hasn't really broken through the ceiling for us, but I don't think that's his fault. I think he's not being played where he deserves to be played, and that's in the midfield. He needs to have a crack.
We'll never know. So what about the bloke who replaced him, James Trezise? What do you see for him in the future?
I really like him. I've been on record on here a few times saying I reckon he's going to be a very good swingman down back, and especially to come on in the last quarter and notch up 9 or 10 touches. That was pretty.
It was quite incredible.
Pretty hot stuff. Yeah, pretty hot stuff. But I think I'm sure you can agree. As a bit of a side topic, the best thing of the night was seeing Taj run around after his knees and whatnot. It was so good to see him have a run, and that goal he kicked and the mark he took. He's just going to be special. He honestly reminds me of a Shy Bolton, and I think he has the ability to be better.
Yeah, he does. I feel like the main difference we'll see between those two is I feel like Taj will be engaged and involved in a lot more of the games more often. I know it's very, very early. I just can't see him having the fades out of games like what Bolton had.
Yeah. Bolton used
Because
to go a bit
I
of a
don't think
walkabout,
Bolton
didn't
had a lot of raw talent and X factor. I don't know if his footy IQ was as good as Hotton's.
he? No, and I think last night kind of showed that. Everyone was impressed with the mark and the goal he took. My two big highlights for him were his 1%ers. That little ground play where he knocked it forward, and I think that led us to a goal. And that little boundary line thing he did as well, where he fought a bigger backman on him and got around him, and that's where it led to. I think that was in the same passage of play. So, he's just very smart. He's very silky with his hands as well. He kind of has similar handball style to Sam Lawler as well, actually. You can tell they've played together.
And just in time, right on cue, Lawler and Houghton inside 450 stoppages could be a massive weapon for us.
Yeah, bring back the mosquito fleet, hey? That could be a good little one running around. The two of them would be very dangerous. I didn't get to see the game last week against Geelong, and to be fair, I'm kind of glad I didn't. But oh man, honestly I was in tears for Sam Lawler. Like I was away, and I was so upset for him, but I was so angry, like with our like training staff. All these players just keep coming back and getting injured. I feel like they're being rushed back a little bit too early. Like look at McKelty, he come back and got injured in the first game back, and Lawler's done it too. There's been a few players that have done it. All the soft tissue injuries and stuff like that. Just been shocking.
I mean, I really do think that some of it's just been bad luck. Like they held Lawler back for another week, and McKelty had already played 4 or 5 games in the VFL, so it's not like he was just second game back in.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seemed a bit unlucky. Like it sounded like there with Lawler that they could have waited 10 weeks and he would have done it because of the way he tackled it. It's just, I just hope they now take a lot more time to get. I know he's got the whole off season now to get it right, of course, but whether it means going and getting the Dylan Grimes treatment or whatever it might be, just get him right because he's got plenty of football ahead of him. And hopefully we can see him round 1 next year with Taj, and we still get to see Smiley as well. So hopefully we see him at some point this year and roll it into next year as well.
Yeah, I'm low key kind of worried for Lawler because that's the 3rd time he's done that hamstring. In about a year period. And I did read a little report that he was going to go away in the off season and get like the Grimes treatment. There was a few little things I was reading about that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping he does because I mean I would hate for him to end up like Dylan Grimes early on. I mean, we know what Dylan Grimes eventuated to become, but
we know it worked at least, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. And I just hopefully he can get over there and get it sorted because I want to see him running circles around the other teams.
Yep, I'm with you. Any other final thoughts for next week?
I think it's an extremely winnable game. I think it's going to be very close, and I'm going to back us in. I reckon we're going to get it done 2 weeks in a row. If we win, it's going to be very close. If we lose, we're going to get flogged, I reckon. I don't think there's going to be
no in
a
between.
close loss for us. No, I'm more confident. I reckon I'd say about 90% I'm leaning towards us winning that game. And I wanted to touch on something that you asked before. You asked the question, and I looked it up about when the last time we had contested possessions and clearances.
Oh yeah, contested possessions and uncontested and contested possessions. Yeah.
The 2017 AFL Grand Final versus Adelaide was the last time we did that.
The last time we won both of those stats was the 17 Grand Final. Holy shit.
It said that, and it said this year we did it against Essendon last time we played them in GWS. But aside from that, it was from a quick little Google search. It was against Adelaide in 2017, and before that, it was 2006 versus Adelaide in round 8.
Wow,
so
there you go. Wow, solid research. I like it. Well, thank you for your time again tonight. I appreciate it, and hopefully we can do it all again next week with, back-to-back wins. Wouldn't that be something? My gosh.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time we've had 2 in a row. Here's hoping the umpires are a bit more lenient because they had me red hot. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, you and about 85,000 others, I reckon. Everyone was getting pretty pissed off there at the ground.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
Appreciate your time, mate. I'll speak to you during the week, no doubt.
Sounds good, mate. Enjoy your week.
You too. See you, mate.
Cheers.
All right, and finally we've got Tom. Thanks for hanging around, mate. How are you, buddy?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Going well, going well. Appreciate you hanging around. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I went to the game. I'm actually from WA, so I flew over on Thursday.
Oh,
Flew over on
wow.
Thursday. Yeah, so I usually come 2-3 times a year, but I flew for this one. Had it penciled because I sort of knew we were a chance. I knew it was winnable. So yeah, I flew
How
over. And
far out
really
did
good
you
to see.
pre-plan coming to this one? How far in advance did you think you
So
had a chance to win?
I went to Dreamtime as well.
Yeah.
And I watched Dreamtime, and as I was leaving, I'm going, geez, if we've got Nankervis, Lynch, and Bolter playing in the next one, we win this game, I think. And obviously,
I think you're right.
so I went and I booked it about 2 weeks after Dreamtime, so I had it booked about 6 weeks ago. And then obviously Bolter and Lynch didn't play, but yeah, Nank obviously being back helped because he was always going to give Goldstein a bath. Really, I mean. Obviously, he kind of didn't dominate him, but he still beat him. So yeah, it was a big in, and yeah, I was really happy with the game. Obviously, it was a bit ugly. It was a bit of an ugly win, but in this stage of a rebuild, you take him how you can get him. So yeah, I was
That's
really happy.
It can be worth quite a bit of experience as well. But it's a good point you make on the Nank one because it's sometimes easy to forget we had Samson Ryan rucking, didn't we, against Goldstein last time? And I think we all walked away from that game. Yeah, he looked all right. Yeah, but I think we all walked away from that game saying exactly what you said, that if we had Bolter, Lynch, and Nang, we probably should have won that game.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on. Yeah.
How much now do we start to get upset about the losses that we had? Like we won 4. We should have beaten Giants, probably should have beaten North.
Oh,
the Essendon one's a tricky one because we just didn't have the cattle out there. But we could be on
the North
6
Melbourne
wins.
and the North Melbourne and GWS ones are the ones that stick out. I think a lot. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Obviously, like young bodies and stuff finishing off games, like in that GWS one. Like obviously in the Gold Coast game where we won, like we probably were too far in front, but in the GWS one we weren't. So like finishing off games, young bodies, that's probably where that one went wrong. And the North one, I guess, just not capitalising. Like really the same. It happens every week, doesn't it? Like we can't really score and goal kicking, I guess. But
how do we fix it? Have you got any solutions to our forward 50 issues?
Well, goal kicking's probably the one thing that you can fix. It's very fixable. Like I was actually at open training the other day, and I saw Jonty was separated from the group, just having like. The rest of the group was off doing the main drill, and Jonty was still goal kicking. So I was pretty happy to see that. But yeah, but thing I'd like to highlight is a lot of people blame the forward line, but I'm really big on like the midfield. Their ball movement, it's just not good enough, and the ball movement, and the midfield and the service they're getting, it's not good enough for your Sims, your Jonties, like especially when they're so young, like it's it's
a good point. And we often notice that as well, that we might win some clearances, but the quality of the clearance is shit house compared to other teams who get like it's always just a dump kick in, right? And that's easy for other teams to set up and spoil. Whereas Zach Merritt, for example, in the first half, is bursting away from the stoppage and streaming inside 50 and able to hit up whichever 40 he wants.
Yeah. I mean, Taranto, Hopper, Prestia, they're never going to be that sort of polished, quick midfielder. Like they're no like Zach Butters, for example. He's a player I'd love to have. If I could have anyone across the league, it'd probably be him because he's quick and he uses it well, and that's what we miss through the midfield. So yeah, that's a good.
Would you agree that we're essentially playing 3 identical midfielders? Like Prestia, Taranto, and Hopper.
Yeah,
exactly. They're good at winning the ball, but none of them are really good at delivering it. Presti's not so. He's probably the best out of the 3.
They're a bit one-paced. Yeah, they're a bit one-paced, and you're spot on. Like they're all pretty similar, aren't they? And that's why I like seeing like a Seth Campbell go in there. Like that's what I'd like to see, and also Tyler Sonzi as well. I'd like to see him have a run through there. Like obviously, he's pretty frustrated, and what we saw in 2022 from Sonzi, I know it was a long time ago now, but when he was in there, he was really good, and then he didn't. He sort of went to half forward, and he's playing out of position. And like to be honest, I haven't really been happy with Sonzi at all. But if like I'd like to see him go in there, like give him a crack, because Kane McAuliffe, he's not that quick either, really, is he? Or Jack Ross or Camden McIntosh.
Yep. It's just the one thing we're lacking, isn't it? Just that breakneck speed midfielder, which maybe, do you see Taj being that midfielder in years to come?
Yeah. I was going to say that Hotteners going in there would be good. I think Uze said they're going to put him in there in the end of the tour, like a hinted that was not going to be on Saturday night, but it'll come, and we've seen him go through in the VFL, VFL, and he's obviously got that like midfield ability, like we've seen it through his juniors, and and he's got pace, and he's got good awareness, like you can see it, like he knows where to go, he moves well, and he'd be good.
I think
like in there.
We have to though, don't we? Because even if you look at Lawler and Smiley, they're not blessed with breakneck speed either. Like they'll be good at finding the ball and being contested. They've obviously got much better skill than what Taranto and Hopper do, but it still doesn't solve the pace part, does it?
No, not at all. So that's why I think this year's draft we've got to look towards that as well. I think that Sam Grill or whatever he's
Sam.
I don't know if you've heard that. Yeah, I think he's all right, or Ollie Greaves or Josh Lindsay or some of those guys. I think they're pretty quick. I don't know a lot about the draft, but I know those three. Like I wouldn't mind them.
Yeah, they're probably the names at the top of my list as well. I think we do need to add. Yeah, we just have to add pace in some way, shape, or form.
Because last year's draft we went for ceiling and just like Lawler and Smiley, and sort of that doesn't fix that problem. But obviously I wouldn't have it any other way with last year's draft. But it was like they're not. You're right. They're not quick, and they're not really fixing that problem. And would you like to see Lawler midfield or forward?
I can see the value. It's really hard. I can see the value of him forward, especially when we haven't got other experience. Not that he's experienced, but he's just a good player. I think long term, it's got to be midfield and then resting forward. It's going to be fascinating to see how we utilize both he and Smiley when in at the same time, because I can kind of see him alternating between spots. Or maybe Smiley becomes like your Dan Curtin hybrid wingman or something. I don't know.
Well, I think Josh Smiley's a pure midfielder. Like obviously his size, his size and ball winning ability. He's a pure midfielder. But Lawler, I think, is more maybe a 60 forward, 40 mid, or 70 forward, 30 mid. Like, because he's a bit like his body size is like a bit. He's not lean. You know what I mean? Like Dusty. I was saying to my mate today, Dusty's when he was younger, he was a bit sort of skinny and like wasn't like Lawler's bigger than what Dusty was. And Jordan DeGoey as well is like Jordan DeGoey is a bit like Lawler. Like he's never been a pure midfielder. Like I think Lawler, I'd love to see Lawler be 50-50 or 60-40, but we'll see, I guess.
What about Luke Traynor? Speaking of the other debutants, what have you made of his season so far? Where do you see his best position? And were you happy with his game last night?
Definitely in defence is where I like Train. I was happy with him last night. I think he had 16 disposals. Like he played pretty solid. Like wing's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? Like you can have 9 disposals and you can have 20. It's hit and miss. And I think he's been solid. Like I'm a big Train guy. Like I think his ball use has been a bit shaky at times, but I definitely want him behind the ball because he played some really good games like behind the ball, like that Freo game in Gather Round. I think the Hawthorn game as well, he was back there, and like the early games, like they're just trying things. They're trying things, but I definitely like Train behind the ball. But our key defender stocks as well is pretty, like you've got like Tyler Young, Josh Gibcus, Jacob Blight, who are all going to be there in the future, hopefully. And then obviously now we've got like Vlosten, Broad, those guys.
So who do you? So if you want Trainer in the back line,
that plays a part as well.
who do you see Trainer taking over from? Because at the moment, I guess he's playing wing and forward because they feel like they've got a settled back six at the moment. But we know that obviously Broad and Vlosten will retire at some point in the next 3 to 5 years, whatever it might be. Who do you think he takes over from?
It's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. Like maybe how's tall's Vlosten? Maybe Vlosten, but
yeah, because there's Gipkus
I
as
know
well, isn't there? I mean,
Broad's going at the end of next year. Yeah,
that's right. He did say that,
Nathan
didn't he?
Broad
That
will
after
retire
this
next year.
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Broad's definitely done into 2026. No ifs or buts, I don't think. So Train, I mean, he's a bit different to Broad. Train's very he's very athletic, and he can obviously jump, and he's very I couldn't tell you who he'd replace, but mate, he's similar to Vlosten, I guess, but a bit.
It's gonna be interesting to see where they land with
Yeah.
him. Like he's a smart player, so he can play multiple roles. But yeah, I guess you just want to make sure he can settle and get to learn a role. What about Morris Jr.? Where do you see his future? Do you like him being up around the contest more? Do you think has he got what it takes to keep being persisted with at AFL level if he's going to get the footy?
Yeah, well, I hope Morris is in the future because I'm a big fan of Morris. I was struggling to lose a bit of hope from him, in that Anzac. Obviously, we all want the Morris back of 2022 when he was running down Nick Dacos and laying those pressure tackles, and it obviously just sparks everyone, or the players, the fans. We love that Morris. But now, I mean, he's a bit different. He's probably put on a few kegs. And he's he's obviously gone to the VFL and played a bit of midfield, but I'd like him half forward, which is probably an obvious answer, half forward. But I think he's in the future, and he's a real spark. Like I was saying, spark for the players, spark for the fan base. He's a Rioli, he's an X factor player. I was saying to my mate during the week, I was I reckon Taj and Morris are really key for this Essendon game because they're two players that gives a real kick, a real spark around the club and the fans. And Morris is that kind of player. He's got an X factor, and
they almost had a bit of a connection on the half forward line. I think one or two of them fumbled it before getting a clean 450 entry, but even the week before, we'd seen it at VFL level that they actually work really well together. So I'm not sure if they've got a tight bond behind the scenes of the club or whatnot, but they're able to utilize each other's speed and awareness really, really well. And I'm with you. I think I'm keen to see what that looks like and develops like at AFL level, because once we get our ball movement right and now the next layer of our game plan going, players like Campbell, Mansell, Houghton, Rioli, they'll be tough to deal with from an opposition perspective when you start to move the ball around the ground quickly.
Yeah, I've got very high hopes for our forward line in 4 or 5 years, 3 years even. It's going to be very dangerous. Especially with the key forwards. We've got a lot of good young key forwards, and we're still searching for a bit of X factor. I feel like we can. I'd like to see us maybe draft one. I know Tiger Faithful on Instagram's calling out for that Lockie Doverston guy. I don't know if you know the one I'm talking about, but he's being talked about a bit. But I'd like to see another sort of small forward X factor player. But other than that, we're looking really good down there, in the future.
I agree. The hard part's the waiting game, isn't it? Because, like you said, it's going to be 3 to 5 years before Jonty Sims and Armstrong are kind of owning the game. If we look at Aaron Cadman, for example, from the Giants, he's been in the system for 3 years now, whatever, and he's starting to really come into his own now. But he's an exceptional player, and we can only hope that our guys turn out the same. But what's the makeshift play to use in the meantime? Lynch might only have 1 year left. Lafau's still around, but would you go after another somewhat experienced key forward to fill the gap for a little bit, or would you just roll with Lafau and the other guys and just see what happens and fast track?
Yeah, it's a hard question. I'd give Lynchy another year. But to be honest, we've got about 7 or 8 key forwards, so I wouldn't be getting anyone in. I'd just let Jonty and Harry and just give them exposure, and hopefully Lynch goes on for 1 or 2 more, and because we really need that, because obviously you don't want Jonty and Harry getting the best key defender every week.
Yeah, exactly.
And a guy like Lafau is important there as well, because he's mature age. So, yeah, he's important as well. I don't know if he's going to be in our next premiership team, but he's definitely going to hopefully gets his body right, and he can play
he's going to help bridge the
in
gap
that
a bit.
Transition stage. Yeah.
The other interesting one, we obviously saw this happen a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but with Tyler Young coming into the side now and playing, he played a really good role alongside Ben Miller. If they keep playing at the level that we assume they're going to keep playing at, which is pretty handy, when Noah Bolter comes back in, is there a world in which that he's then tried forward again? I know we've seen it many years ago and it didn't really didn't land with a lot of the supporters, but I'm kind of not sure whether I want to upset the defensive structure if it's working well. And could we use his athleticism and his, I don't know, his ball hunting ability up front instead if Lynch is not playing or whatnot?
Yeah, it's a good question. I definitely like Noah behind the ball. He's not having a great year because of off-field distractions and being in and out of the side. But I'm not a huge fan, and I don't think Noah's got the sort of smarts and awareness in a way, the IQ, to know sort of where the goals are, I guess. I mean, obviously he's not a small forward in that sense of awareness, but he's being a key forward, you have to you've got to have sort of, I don't know if he's suited to it. He's better behind the ball, if you know what I mean. I don't know if he's got the awareness and goal sense kind of as well. But yeah, I definitely like him behind the ball and as well, we've got enough key forwards, and I know you were saying how we might need to find someone for the transition stage. But I think just give the young guys exposure. Just play Noah in defence, give him exposure. Play Lafau, play Lynch. But yeah.
Do we reckon that Bolter comes back a better player next year? Do you think that obviously he's got all the shit going on now with the curfew and everything like that? What's your expectation of what he's going to deliver next year? Because I've honestly not been impressed with his form at AFL or VFL level. And I can understand he's got stuff happening, but that's his own fault, and he kind of needs to own that and rise above it in a lot of ways. What's the expectation for next year?
I think Noah will be a lot better next year, because he doesn't have any curfews next year, does he?
No, I think it ends in a couple of weeks, and it's end of July, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. So I reckon he'll be I think this year's just been pretty disastrous for him. Obviously, his first game back was really good against Gold Coast, but I think all the off-field stuff's just been not good at all, and going in and out of the side and in the VFL and the AFL, it's just in and out, in and out. It's not been good at all. So I think Noah, I'm a big Noah fan. He's got a very sort of high ceiling as a player. He's athletic. He can jump. Obviously, his kicking's not great and his IQ's not great, but can't have the jack of all trades, really, can you? So
as Grok says on the Monday night shows, just kick it long, don't kick it short. Noah, just boot the shit out of the ball and get it 70 meters down the line, and that'll
could say the same for the whole of the defense, really. Blight, I know he's not great by foot. Gibkiss is a bit shaky by foot, and even Vlosten and Broad have turned it over a bit this year, which doesn't usually happen. But
ironically, the more reliable one's been Miller. Really, and he's been actually quite okay by foot.
I'm a big fan of Funk. At the start of the year, I wasn't really too keen on him, and I reckon I made a best 22 team in about January, and he wouldn't have even been in it. And then he played that Carlton game, played really good. And then, but the last like 6 weeks has just been real good from Funk. Like he's been really solid. Like I've been really happy with him this year. Couldn't be happier. And obviously last night was real good, and he's getting some recognition now around the league.
It feels like he's just growing in confidence too. It's like he now believes he belongs as a key defender at AFL level, and then he can own it.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, he's growing in confidence as well, which helps. And you're right, he knows he knows his place now, and yeah.
What are your thoughts for next week? Do you give us any chance against the Eagles? Can we get back-to-back wins?
Well, I'm really hoping, because obviously being from WA, I'm mates with a lot of West Coast people, so I'm really hoping.
Do you get to go into that one?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, so I fly back to Perth tomorrow. So I'll go, and I think to be honest, I reckon we probably might go down. Like I've got this feeling we might go down, but I'm hoping that we can, because I think on paper we're probably better than West Coast at the moment. Like not in terms of results, but in terms of the teams. Like I think our team is better than theirs right now.
It'd be nice to get a win over there. I do fear they'll be after a bit of retribution for that earlier loss to us at the G.
Yeah, I'm not confident at all, but I think with like Waterman and Allen not playing,
that's big outs. I mean, Waterman smashes us, doesn't he? Like, he annihilates us.
Like I was at the game when he kicked 6.
We kick-started his form run, didn't we? When he kicked those.
Yeah. He was in career best form last year. So
on the back of that.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get a win for you over in Perth, just so you can stick it up some of your mates, because I'm sure you'll cop a fair bit of shit if it goes the other way.
Yeah.
But no, awesome. Well done for flying down too. That's a great bit of anticipation by you to get down to see a win, which makes it a bit more worthwhile.
Yeah, spot on. Cheers.
So, well, thank you for jumping on tonight, Tom. Appreciate you hanging around, and we'll do it all again next week, hopefully with a win against the Eagles, and we'll get you live on the ground over in Perth, and you can
chat to you then. Yeah,
you can show us all the tears from the West Coast supporters.
yeah, spot on. I hope we go well.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Bye. And finally, we've got Sarge. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Good. What do you make of the game?
Wow. Oh, where do we begin? I was going to watch the game with a mate at a pub, and then I didn't hear from him for a few hours, so I didn't know what we were doing. So I just sat at home and watched it with my mum, and I'm glad I didn't watch that game in public. I was going off.
It was tough to be at for a lot of it. Like there's a lot of heads in hands from a lot of people in pretty much every area of the ground, to be honest. It was, I think we're all on the same page there.
My brother randomly, my brother went to the game with a few of his mates, and he randomly just texts me in the middle of the second quarter. He's like, hang on, what did he say? He said, this is insufferable.
It was a bit like that.
Yeah.
It was, it was not good viewing. And like, it wasn't even raining or wet. Oh, your camera's frozen again. It's done you dirty as well.
Oh, rip. Oh, well.
That's all right. I can still hear you. But yeah, it was, you don't want to see too many more of those games.
Yeah. But a win's a win.
At the start of the year, would you have expected us to win 4 games? I know that's a very low bar, but based on everything we knew, would you have expected us to win 4?
No. I honestly thought we would have won 2, maybe 3.
It's, so even though that was a grubby and shit win, I still think there's some positives to take out of it. The learnings that the young guys will get was good, and scrappy wins can definitely be beneficial. But it's just some of the skill areas from both teams, not just us, from both teams were like, wow, this is a genuine bottom 4 battle at the moment.
I saw an interview with Brody today, and he said it was good experience for the young lads to have what like I guess what he called as an ugly win.
Okay.
So I kind of see where he's coming from with that.
There's definitely something in that. It's just hard to watch as supporters, isn't it? But
yeah, it's not the most ideal spectacle, is it?
what do you reckon was the turning point for the last quarter? Because prior to then, we obviously kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, none for the next 2. They hit the front, and then we had to outscore them in the last, and we kick another 3. What changes from the middle 2 quarters to the last quarter?
I think it just comes down to we wanted it more. Like I feel like if I could have been a fly on the wall, or not on the wall, but on like one of those boards they hold up in the huddle, I reckon Uze would have said something along the lines of, "Listen, we've been smashed by at least 50 points the last few weeks. We're not in that position now. We've played really good fourth quarters the last few weeks. Let's crack in here and get it done."
Maybe. It's not a bad shout, because I think our pressure went up to over 200 for that last quarter, which was probably a large part of the reason why we were able to get ourselves back in it. But it took, a very tired-looking goal from Tim Taranto, and then a bit of brilliance from Jacob Hopper on the boundary.
Oh, that was his Dom Sheed moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, how's his celebration? The knees up, just really getting amongst it. It was good on him, though. I mean, they've been busting their ass all year, so it's actually nice for them to get a goal.
Reminded me a bit of did you see the game where Oleg Markov was the sub and he kicked a goal and he did the little the baby steps sort of thing?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
Yeah, it was
it was good.
It was the energy that we needed, though, wasn't it? And then Jonty tops it off.
That would have been so good for his confidence. Like to kick the match-winning goal or the sealer. Like I think that would have done well for Jonty.
He's had, is it 20? It's 20 odd scoring shots, I think it is, this year.
Yeah.
I know he's on the wrong side of the ledger, but in a lot of ways, I'm still proud and impressed with him for even being able to generate 20 set shots as a first-year key forward in a struggling side.
Yeah. You'd rather he be inaccurate now, and then 3 years from now, he's probably like our leading goal kicker.
So it just feels like that part of it, like the conversion part, I feel like will turn at some point.
Yeah.
So it's just, the fact he's still able to get the shots, I think, is the important piece. What about in comparison, Tom Sims? How have you seen his? I'm just a little bit worried about his output. I know it's a tough gig going up in the ruck against Goldstein as well and 2 meter Peter. I just kind of feel like that since that GWS game, his impact around the ground's maybe dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I think it's got to be hard for the kid. He's going in a very inexperienced forward line, and then he's going into a ruck confident a ruck contest, and I reckon give him time. He's got the body. I feel like he just needs to be given opportunity.
And do you see him as more of a forward than a ruck?
Well, we drafted him as a forward, didn't we?
Yeah. So then, do you still think we need to trade in for a ruck or draft a ruck?
I would love to trade for a ruck, but I don't know if there's any on the market or we have any. And if there are any in the current draft pool.
Well, a lot of the experienced rucks that were around, like Ned Moyles and Ned Reeves or someone else. There's another guy at North Melbourne. I can't remember his name, but they're all already signed up for the next few years. I know that if you're going to bring someone across and give them first ruck, they're probably likely to break that current deal. But yeah, there just doesn't seem like there's anyone really obvious at the moment.
Maybe we should give Ivan Soldo a ring. He's not doing anything at Port Adelaide right now.
No, I mean, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he obviously left for more opportunity, and then they've got 2 other ruckmen now that they play ahead of him. And I thought he was doing all right for us. I mean, in the role he was playing.
Yeah, but, I also thought the same. I was really disappointed when he left.
Yeah, I got it from his perspective. I totally got it. Like, if he was promised number one status, then of course you make that move. But it just hasn't panned out for him, has it?
He was. I don't know. Was he misled? Was he lied to? Like,
It kind of feels that way, doesn't it, from Port Adelaide's perspective?
yeah, poor guy. Yeah, I honestly don't know what we do in the ruck situation. Like, are we ever gonna give Ollie Hayes-Brown a go?
I wouldn't mind seeing him play a game this year because he had another pretty good game on the weekend against an established Southport ruckman. And it might feel like or seem like it's a token game, and maybe it is to some extent. I just think it'd be good reward for his effort. I mean, it was only last year he was playing in the VAFA before playing half the season with us, and yeah, I wouldn't be against seeing how he went in the ruck so Nate can rest forward or go off the ground or whatever he's got to do.
Like,
I feel like that he'll be a better ruck option than what Sims might be as a drop-out ruck.
We have these guys on our list, like your Ollie Hayes-Browns and your Mate Kalinas, and we haven't done anything with them. Like, why are they on the list?
Yeah, well, I suppose Kalina was the Category B rookie. I don't think that he'll be around next year. But Hayes-Brown's still only really, really young, and they take a bit longer to develop, I guess. And then there's Samson Ryan as well. Like, I know, Popular, you said you were kidding about Samson Ryan, but he comes back into the frame in a few weeks as well, I guess.
What do you think is the solution to the Samson Ryan issue?
I'm still holding out slim hope that it just clicks with him one day, but I feel like that's fading very, very quickly. I don't know. It's like it's a mental thing.
Yeah. Do you reckon he needs to put on a bit of size?
Bit more muscle wouldn't hurt, because there was even a game. It might have even been the preseason game this year against Collingwood, where he got shifted off the ball by Maynard. I'm like, oh God, we can't be having our ruckman being shifted off the ball by Maynard. But yeah, it honestly worries me at the moment. Like, if Nank was to be suspended or go down with something, whatever it might be, we're in a world of hurt. With what we've got left.
We saw what happened last time we played Essendon, and we went in with Samson Ryan as our ruck, and Goldie tore him apart. Yeah,
exactly. And like Hayes-Brown would have to probably come in by default. And look, I'm still keen to see him. I'm keen to see him.
Yeah. Taj Houghton. Wow, oh wow.
He's a player.
He had a very quiet game, but still, I was amazed with what he was doing. He was getting the ball through traffic really well. Like, almost every kind of contest I saw him in, he managed to get the ball out clean. He's got something, that kid, I tell you.
He's definitely got it. It's the IQ for me.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of the ground, he had like a little over the head handball to someone running past, but like they're hitting targets. So the more games he can play, the better. And at 53% or 56% game time, which I completely understand, it's going to be really cool to see what he does with 75 to 80% game time. Hopefully by the end of the year.
Oh, so was he on managed minutes? Yeah,
he only played 56%.
I probably shouldn't have put him on for 20 disposals. That's probably why it got me. How about that mark that he took in inside 50 for that goal?
He got some springs in his steps, and I want to give credit to Dion Prestia for the kick as well, because I reckon he saw him late at the corner of his eye and pulled the kick perfectly, and more importantly, put it to Taj's advantage so he could take the mark. But yeah, to go back and kick his first goal like that, it was something we desperately needed.
Yeah. I'm very glad to have witnessed it. You went to the game, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been an absolute spectacle.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was to his goal, but the rest of the game not so much. There was a lady behind me. It must have been during the third or fourth quarter. She'd had enough. She was right. I'm going outside. I'm having a smoke. Then I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll get some food and I'll come back and I'll see where we're at. It was just one of those games that people were just not wanting to watch what was unfolding out there. But
yeah,
we got the dub. We got the dub.
Yeah,
That's the most
we
important
got it.
part.
What did you make of Tyler Sonzi?
At the ground, I didn't think he was playing that bad, but then I was starting to see a lot of commentary online about there was some contest he pulled out of. I truthfully didn't see it, but I'm not at all suggesting it didn't happen. I just didn't notice it so much at the ground. I really thought he was putting in a lot of effort early days to get into the right position, to get the ball moving. He was getting some disposals, and I really thought he was putting a lot of effort in. But yeah, if there was contest that he was pulling out of again, that does at some point in time become an issue, I think, especially if it becomes week on week. When you compare Taj in his first game, diving in at the ball head first and scooping it out, that's the commitment you want to see from all your players.
Yeah.
Were there contests? Did you notice some contests watching on TV that he bailed on or anything?
I didn't take too much notice of him until he got subbed off. He was pissed. He was really, really angry. Like, he went onto the bench. He punched like the padding of the seat, and he looked like he was crying. Like, there was some bloke next to him, like, talking to him, and he looked like he had tears in his eyes, but I thought it might have been sweat. But no, when I watched it again, I'm like, oh, he looked really, really upset.
Do you think he's gone at the end of the year?
I don't want him to be gone, because I think he's so capable of being a great great asset to the team if he's just played in the right position. Like, I said this to my mum when we were watching it. Like, I feel bad for him. He's got every right to be pissed because he's not being played in position. And I think it's probably to do with Hopper or Taranto or Prestia. One of them is like, no, I want to play exclusively midfield. And, you know, it's like, give him a crack in the guts. Like, I remember in late 2022, he was like playing in the guts and he was doing quite well at it.
I think that's what's frustrated a lot of people, is that exact point in time where we saw it happen and saw how well it was helping us and how well he was playing, and then we've just never seen it since. And that's probably where his frustration comes from too, I'm guessing, that he knows or feels he can do it, but he does do it at VFL as well. I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if he's on the list next year, unfortunately, because even playing as a half forward, when you start to now introduce players like Tash Houghton, you've got Jasper Alger to come back in who can play half forward. Steely Green will be playing somewhere around that area as well. Then you're going to have players like Smiley and Lawler who, when aren't in the midfield, resting in the forward line. It's just kind of hard to see him maintaining a spot.
It is real sad, because the couple of years ago, like, you know, we were all talking about how Sonzi's going to be a part of the future of this club, and now he's kind of just been, you know, one whole draft later, he's basically on the out.
It just goes to show that when you get your opportunities, you just got to play like it's your last game all the time. And yeah, you know, Morris might find himself in a similar spot, although I think Morris has still got a lot more to offer in a few different ways. But
do you think Morris was played in the usual position that they play him in, like just deep forward pocket?
It didn't, like, I did think that whilst at the ground. I wasn't sure if it didn't feel like he was being played up around stoppages as much as he was the week prior. But I wasn't sure if I was just not seeing it correctly, but it didn't seem like he was up near the ball as much as what I would have liked.
Yeah, it's interesting what's going on. Like, we're in a very transitional period. We're trying a lot of things, and we've got heaps of young players to come in, and it's a very interesting time for the club. I would hate to see Sonzi go, but you know what? If he's going to go off and be better, get better opportunities at another club, I can't fault him for that.
No, exactly right. And the end of year, the listings or trades, whatever it might, the list changes are going to be fascinating, because, you know, last year it felt quite easy to predict who that was going to be. This year, there seems like some obvious candidates, but you just don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say Cozzy, but I'm pretty sure he's still contracted. Samson Ryan's still contracted. Jacob Bauer's out of contract and obviously does his knee, and that's just like horrible timing on all fronts. Sonzi's probably somewhere in the mix as well. Blight might get traded. Who knows? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I'm dirty on Kaczynski. I think Kaczynski should have played back, not forward.
Who would you have put forward instead?
That's the thing. I don't have an answer to that question.
Because, I mean, I really like the pairing of Miller and Young down back. I thought they gelled and worked quite well. I mean, Cozzy was only down there because he did what he did in the VFL game. Like, he went down there last week in the VFL and did the role, but there's just no one else to do it. They clearly, for whatever reason, aren't prepared to play Blight, and he would be the only other player who could do it currently.
I still don't understand why he was dropped.
There has to be some other stuff going on behind the scenes.
Maybe do you reckon he wants to go home, or do you reckon they've had a chat to him and been like, look, we're going to make a play for Harley Reid. We might send you as part of the package.
Possibly. You just don't know what discussions are taking place. But I suppose to Lettuce's point, it is good for the club. It's a weird situation, isn't it? We talk about this a little bit, that despite how poorly our win-loss record is, we've still got competition for spots in certain areas. Like, we've got 8 or 9 key defenders. We've got a lot of young key forwards. We've got players who we're all wanting to get midfield minutes that can't at the moment. So there's a bit happening. And there's another draft to come. Jake wants to know, do we think we'll pick up Angus Sheldrick? I think, is that one who's from Sydney from memory? I did hear his name the other week.
Yeah,
I truthfully don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I saw something the other day about him as well. I don't know too much about him, to be completely honest.
I think, Jake, I mean, whether it's Angus or someone else, I really do think that we're going to be acquiring someone to help add a bit more experience into our list. Like, I just think we need to spend the money somewhere, because you've got to pay the cap somewhere, somehow. And yeah, I don't know who that looks like. Widescreen's all in for Bonds. Why not? You'd have to ask the question, at least, if he's not signed, to get back to your childhood club. But yeah, I don't know who it will be, but we'll have to. I think we've got to add someone just to help tie us over.
Yeah, Uze said something earlier in the year that I thought was interesting. He's like, clubs like North are getting in experienced players to help out the young kids. We don't need to do that. We've got experience. And I'm like, yeah, that is true, but most of those players are defenders.
Yeah, they're all at one end of the ground, aren't they?
Yeah. Like, it's Floston, Broad, Short, and Nank, and Prestia. And Prestia is probably going to retire at the end of the year.
You reckon?
So
yeah.
I think we need just one gun midfielder to kind of replace Prestia in that aspect.
Do we need a midfielder? Do we need a forward?
No, actually, I retract that statement. We need a forward.
I know we can't get this player now, but it's almost like we needed that Tim Membry type. Just another older guy knows what he's doing, just to help out until the other young guys are ready. That type of player.
Yeah.
I just don't know who out there is available to do that role.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
And as Harry says, another Hooley and Grigg. You need the plug-and-play players. Like, as much as we all love having all these kids on our list, and they're all going to be, really good players for the club, there's a point in time where you need to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit with some experienced players to allow them to develop properly. And you can't just roll around with a team full of kids every year. But yeah, I'm with you, Les. I reckon we need an experienced forward as well. I just don't know where it comes from, is my only thing.
Like, we have Lynch, but Lynch is, I don't know. He's not the player he used to be.
No. I mean, in an ideal world, I reckon you want a forward that's in that 25 to 28-year-old bracket that you're going to get some good mileage out of. Maybe it's even older. Maybe it's 27 to 30. I don't know. But we need something. We need a circuit breaker down there, just some experience that we got another target to kick to.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think we're cooked in that aspect.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. But What are your thoughts for next week against the Eagles? Do you give us a chance at all? Can we go back to back?
I think we'll have a red hot crack.
Be nice to get it. Wouldn't that be a feather in the cap? I know that sounds very small, but if we're able to get back-to-back wins, imagine what that would feel like and what that would do for the club.
That would do heaps. And they'll have some interesting. They'll have some outs. Graham's not playing the next 4 weeks, unfortunately.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want Harry Mackay on the team.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, yeah, do you ask the question? I don't know. It's a bit of a head scratcher, the forward situation.
Yeah, I think
we're just so weak there.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's like world's hardest questions.
Yeah, I know. It definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Mitch Lewis, that's not a bad shout widescreen. I mean,
actually, I did think about that.
Is he still injured though? I'm not sure.
He's kicking bags in the VFL.
So Hawthorn just not playing him. Holy shit.
No. Or they're maybe getting him to have a run in the VFL to get into form, or they're simply just not playing him.
If they're not playing him, he would be number one on my list then. I know he's had his injury issues. He'd only be like 24, 25, I reckon. That's just a complete guess, but I don't think he's old.
Do you reckon that's the right age, though? Or is he too young?
No, I think he would fit okay. He's a big unit.
Mm.
That'd be crazy if they're not playing him. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. I've got some Hawthorn mates I can speak to.
Yeah, see what they reckon. See what they think. Yeah. What's happening with him.
Yeah. West Coast next week. I think we'll have a crack. I think we'll have a better crack than we did this week. I can't see us playing any worse than what we did on the weekend, despite the fact that we win. Yeah.
No, that's a pretty good summation. Hopefully we can improve on that and they take some learnings. If it's a nice, dry dough, you might see some free-flowing football of some sort. Fingers crossed.
Jake Waterman's still injured, right?
Yeah, he and Oscar Allen will be out, which is, that's huge for us, really, because Waterman usually tortures us. So they had, I think Joe Shanahan's down there, and there was someone else who was quite young for West Coast as a key forward, but got a bit of size on him, so that we might be able to go okay in that department.
I think Ben Miller and Tyler Young did a fantastic job on the weekend, and I think they will do a fantastic job next week.
I think so too. The more games they play together, the better. There you go. Lewis is 26. I think that's not a bad spot then, Harry. I like that. Brody Myercheck could be a good.
He will not leave. Brody Myercheck is not going to leave Collingwood.
I've loved Myercheck. I reckon he is an underrated player, and I would love to have him. But I can't see him leaving the Pies. But from a player type, that's a good shout. That's a very good shout.
I miss Noah Cumberland.
Yeah, bring him back. Well, Sarge, thanks for jumping on tonight, mate. I appreciate your insights as always, and hopefully we can do it all again next week with a back-to-back win.
Yeah, fantastic. All right.
Which would be awesome.
Thanks, Michael.
Have a good one, mate. Speak soon.
Yeah, you too.
Well, that's made my head big again. Well, there we go. There was a bit of fan cam. Good to have everyone jump on. Thanks to everybody who came on for a chat tonight to talk about the Tigers. Thanks for all the comments. We can rip through some questions at the end here. We got hot take. I think we're fine after Lynch retires. If Lynch retires next year, Sims, Fall, and Armstrong will have another 2 pre-seasons under their belt. Hopefully, Brandon, I hope you're right. I really do hope that they'd be ready to explode, because if they're not, then it could get ugly and painful. But that would be the hope. Ventro, what do you think we should do in regards to Harley Reid? Not overly keen on him with the attitude and performance recently, but has talent. They won't take 1 first rounder. I really do think they'll ask for 3 if he wants to go this year to whoever. I don't think anyone's going to pay 3, but that's what they'll ask for. As to if we get him, I honestly flip-flop on this quite a bit. I can see why we'd want to get him. Adding he and Lawler to the midfield would be huge. But yeah, getting Josh Lindsay and Sam Grill or someone like that is equally as appealing. So you'd want to make sure you're getting the Harley Reid that's going to give you the best output, I guess. But there's never really a guarantee on that. It's if we were going to do it, I wouldn't want to lose 2 picks this year. I'd be happy to lose 1 in a future, but I wouldn't lose 2 from this year. Do you negotiate for Allen so West Coast gets pick 2 but don't take? Yeah, maybe. And this is the thing, like the one thing we've been good at as a club is having good working relationships with clubs, and whether that's because we've not taken player X, Y, or Z. And even if you think about the mid-season draft this year, how we rested Tom McCarthy the week beforehand, knowing that he was going to go pick 1 to West Coast, so they get a fully fit and healthy player. It's small things like that go a long way, I reckon, when it comes to relationships with clubs. So hopefully that plays in our favour in some way, shape, or form if we do have to enter negotiations for a Reid or whoever it might be from another club, just with how easy we are to deal with. But yeah, trade period will be interesting. So that is a wrap for tonight, though. We are back tomorrow night for the Monday Night Live show, 8:30 p.m. Make sure you tune in for that. It'll be good to hear the other guys' thoughts on the game. Again, thanks to everybody who jumped on fan cams tonight. It's always good fun to hear everyone's thoughts and views on the game, even though it wasn't a great looking game. It was good to get all your thoughts, and everyone in chat as well. Great to hear and read all of your opinions too. Make sure you like and subscribe for the channel for more Richmond content, and we will see you all tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow. Go Tigers.